as I said before, is only 24 hours. So yeah, just hope everyone had a fantastic one and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, gentlemen. Back in. Was that always on? Okay, there we go.
What was it?
No, I was gonna say, is that always on that side, like the subscribe and the Origenics? But then it shifted to what I would like to consider the right side, which that was weird. It's not always. I don't know.
Bitcoin up. We got the Bitcoin thing blasting up there.
Bitcoin strong. 114. Right, IBIT literally. Well, I don't know if it broke if it's still breaking the high. Literally at the highs of the day as it continues to rally. So strong day for Bitcoin. Wolf has been halted for 2 hours. We'll get to some details on that, which obviously was a kind of a weird move that I don't think anyone really saw coming, going bankruptcy and now coming out of the bankruptcy with some restructuring. So that should be a bit of a play. And then I don't know how much it got talked about, but Etsy here, Etsy up 11%. And continuing to look absolutely gorgeous. Is that midday? It was actually closer to 1 o'clock. They got a huge bump here on Etsy, so up 11%, big time runner. But the market really gave back a lot of the early gains. Like it was a breakout at early, and it's been mostly trend down since catching about a bit of a bid like an hour ago. Yeah, so pretty rough day overall for the market. Most of the day, but we're up 0.5%, even though most of it was selling. We are up 0.5% to start the week after what was it's been an unbelievable month. September doldrums. What September doldrums? Didn't happen.
Yeah, that's stuff.
I think needless to say, but yeah, the market's just a living and breathing monster that you never know which way it's going to go. And I think that with the rate cut cycle starting right now, looking at growth stocks and all that kind of stuff is where the strength has been this month. Nvidia, some of these names are at all-time highs again, and while you were gone, just dip by more. Yes, thank you. Breaking out finally here on Tesla. We're not going to stop talking about it. And also, we did not reload AMD, and we should have. We're still in a piece of this one, as this is up to 163 as well. We actually have a new sponsor right here. So if you are looking for a futures trading platform that actually delivers without hitting costs, with plus 500 futures, you get free live charts, transparent fees, low margins, and an unlimited demo. So you can practice until you're ready to trade live. And believe me, you listen to us, I think that is a great idea. Open an account and start trading with as little as $100. With Plus 500's powerful platform, you can access a wide range of futures markets, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, gas, Forex, metals, crypto, and more. This is all, of course, located in one easy-to-find place. Plus, enjoy a welcome bonus, here we go, of up to $200 in commission-free trading. Just scan that QR code on your screen, apply for your account today, and join over 30 million users worldwide who have chosen Plus 500. Thank you to them for helping us out. All right, here we go, man. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's finally time to see a little bit of moon action right here in Tesla. So shout out to Jeff Mendel. I'm not talking about overnight trading mooning. I'm actually talking about, let's see if we can finally, and look, we're $3. Both these trades were $3 in the money, but we have significantly more shares on Tesla because we were able to get reloads down at key levels again. So we wouldn't be honest to ourselves. I talked about 440, and again, it's right here on the note. We're going to probably get to Tesla. Let me know when Sharif is ready, and we'll just go over there because I have a feeling that this is going to be on the note anyways. But we wrote down did you say yes? No, not yet. Okay. We wrote down on our note today, here, let me get this back here for X and show you guys, that we like the 440 long on Tesla. We also liked a few other trades, so we'll go over this as we go. But there it is right there, Tesla 450 long. That breakout was not well lived. Well, we will talk about that. That rate there was very, very quick. There's the 450 break. There's me trying to buy it back at VWAP. It actually worked out okay. We lost the way there. We bought it back. And then since then, we've been buying it as well. But like we said, man, if you're going to be a trader, you might as well trade. And there it is right there, 440. We wanted to see if that was going to be support off of Friday's close. So I'm always feeling pretty comfortable making those trades. So we're back into Tesla right now, and I'm just kind of killing time as we set up and wait for Sharif. So as soon as that's ready, then we'll go through the rundown. Yeah, no problem. I just know Tesla's going to be on there, I would think, but maybe it's not. Oh, it's not. Okay, good. It's not on? Okay, perfect. So then that's good. So I just wanted to talk about it then. So there's the reload again. Boom, boom. Right. Try to get this back in. Let's see if it gets back breaking now through 444. So my next offer is going to be right up there. I just canceled. I had a 443.50. Let's go 443.80s or so and see if we can get out of try to get out of about 15% of what we have left if we can get it all the way up there. So yeah, so far so good here on Tesla. $3 on the reload and $3 on AMD. So you've got a lot of positions on as well.
Well, I don't know about a lot. It's 3. One of them I've had all day long, so it doesn't really matter. And Nvidia is a new one. Will Nvidia be on the list? I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like I don't want to make assumptions. I was just looking at that BQ because I assume that's going to be on the list when assume, i.e. I looked up at the our little visualizer and had a glance. I saw Wolf, I saw BQ, so I was familiarizing myself with BQ for the first time. No, but I am in Nvidia here on a little bit of a consolidative level. I've only been long the stock twice, and both times have been at 182 on a bit of a trend break. So in that, but I am short Intel, which I don't think is going to be on the list, but we are ready. So let's go to Sharif. Haha, I know BQ is going to be one of the names on the list.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys are locked, they're loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers right there is to get into the chat and vote for your favorite ticker every day. Super easy. Get into the chat, throw in that $sign followed by whatever ticker your heart so desires. Let's first go, guys, before we get into the rundown, look at all 4 major averages. 2 are green, 2 are red. The ES and the NQ, the best performing on the day, with the NQ leading the way here. The ES up a little bit less than 0.5%, but defending that critical 6,700 point area that we talked about in the morning. The NQ also up nicely here, a little bit less than 0.5% off the highs. It was knocking on the door, guys, of 25,000, again, rejecting at 24,975. The Dow is just barely red, down 0.05 on the day. Likewise with the Russell, who could go green here at any moment, down 0.03% on the day. But Wolf Speed, oh my goodness, what is this craziness over here? Shares were trading higher substantially after the company announced reorganization plan, with shareholders receiving a substitute new common stock. Guys, they declared Chapter 11, and this one was at risk of delisting. And here we are, up big on the day.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's been halted now for 2 hours on Wolf Speed. So Wolf Speed, the plan, the court approved, will slash debt by 70% from $6.5 billion to $2 billion. Cut interest payments by about 60% as part of the process. They will reincorporate from North Carolina to Delaware. Now, here's the thing. The old stock gets delisted and October 10. However, here's the important part. Shareholders will receive new common stock in the reorganized company. However, the restructuring involves significant dilution, with current shareholders set to receive only 3 to 5% of the new equity as creditors take majority ownership. Obviously, that's not as bullish as maybe I think some of the trading in it today might have suggested. So I'm not sure now. Let me just quickly double check the halt page, because I didn't do this earlier. Where is my trade halt page? There you go. Is this news-based, or is it? Because it's been halt. Yeah, so now all of a sudden they decide, after all of that nonsense, the last halt was for news. So this might not open back up. We'll see. But I don't, because it's halted and it's news-based, and they're actually at T1, and it's been at T1 for 2 hours now, despite the fact that we have the headline, I would say there is no trade on this today. Just hopefully you were heeding some cautionary tales about trying to trade this, because it didn't make sense. It was weird to me that it was even open today, to be honest with you, based on this story. But there it is. So anyone can check the update now. You can look at this page to see if it does open back up. I'm going to guess at this point, after 2 hours, decent chance you don't see this stock again until the new Wolf, I guess you're calling it.
Yeah, I mean, shareholders are going to eat the bag on that one, so I would say it's probably, equity is probably going to go down to nothing over there. Equity's not going down to nothing on Tesla as we are getting close to all-time highs again, up that here near 440. That's where we're at now, but 480, looking at all-time highs. Remember, we are still waiting to get some out just below VWAP here. Now $3 and trying to get a little bit higher to the upside is Tesla. All right, man, we had some good barbecue opportunities this weekend. Let's go find out what's going. Come on, let's go Tesla. We're just now pennies away. Just broke through $3 right now. And trying to get upside right now on Tesla. Remember, 443.80. I don't want to change it. I'm kind of feeling like I want to change it a little bit because I see this move and what really is 50 cents when you got this. But let's just wait to see what winds up happening here with Tesla and go figure out stock. I don't even know the name of this.
I can't pronounce it, so I'd love to see Sharif try to pronounce this.
What? Boki Holdings. Boki Holding Limited. There, I did it, and it's right. Over the desk.
Has no catalyst either, Katina, man. But it's got some usual characteristics here that we associate typically with bamboozlement. Let's start with the price action first. It's still up 238% on the day. It's getting right in to that volume weighted average price at 9 3/4, but it is about 45% off the highs currently. BQ. It trades on the MX exchange as well. And it is, this is what they're involved in. They're a company engaged in operating an online pet-focused platform, guys. They own and operate a platform called Boki, through which they sell pet products under brands like Yokin, Mocare, and 2DCAT. No names we've heard of, and there was a reason for that. You take a look at that contact information right there. You can't quite see it on the screen because my picture is in the way, but this is a Chinese company, guys. It's on the Amex network, and I think we should definitely look at it with a little bit of suspicion.
Yeah, like we've seen, like the thing about this is you've seen stocks like this do this before. Literally this one. It did a move like this in July, although I believe at least on July 11th there was news in this thing. Yeah, if you go back to July, yeah, it looks like there was. No, there wasn't anything. Give me a break. So anyways, this is a habitual line stepper. So I wouldn't chase this unless you find some kind of a news catalyst or you know something solidly about this company. This is a stay away type event. Yeah, sure, it could always squeeze. Heck, it's holding the volume weighted average price. So if you're into that sort of thing, go for it. You can have your 10 and risk to 9. Me, not my cup of tea. So I won't touch this with a 10-foot pole. Again, no catalyst. And then when I looked back, I'd swear I saw something decent on the 11th because it did move. But all it was a reverse split on the 11th. So if that's what causes this stock to go up and there's no catalyst on it today, then to me chasing this move is a little bit crazy. And you won't see me doing it. It might even be on the back end of it. So good luck when you're trading these. There's plenty of volume and liquidity. So there's certainly an opportunity here if this is the kind of stock you're interested in. I just don't think I would ever hold something that looks like this. It pumps, it dumps, it's got no news. So don't chase the move.
All right, so we got out some, I actually took some out there. I'm going to talk about Boki in a minute there. We just got some out at Tesla, 443.20. I was like, I just reduced the amount of shares I have at 443.80 and put some out there at 20. So still trying to get it at 15%. See there, you guys can take it now if you want. You get a better price than what I have. So the only thing I think about this Boki is that if it comes back above this 13, that to me is the area. So you're looking for it to break above 13, then I think it should halt again. And then that next one might be the one that sends this thing to the moon. So we've absolutely crushed some of these names. There was, I know Neil said it wasn't his style, but this is, my style is everything. We traded, there's that huge one last week, I can't remember, it went from $5, and I sat here, had long $5, and it was at $22. And it really was enough money to make the week. So I do think there's a lot of opportunities here. Unfortunately, I didn't see this one early enough. I think that it would have been a great opportunity at that first halt down there at $5. Now I just think you want to wait for around a $13 break. But whatever that one was last week, I don't mean to gloat, but we had a $15 winner, Neil, on a $5 name. So,
does that have news on it?
Yeah, last week, remember, you were sitting right there.
Well, here's the thing.
When
I said it's not my style, if a stock does this, it does in the past, but there is no catalyst, that's the only reason. I'll trade a small cap if it has news on it.
I don't remember, but I'm just saying, like, the way this thing moves.
Makes a big difference.
I think is, it always, yeah, for sure. We love trading names on news. I mean, that's exactly, why everyone follows.
Especially if it's Hong Kong or China and no news. And this is not, like, that's not to be, like, anything against. It's just the nature of those types of stocks when they have no catalyst. They tend to get pumped and obviously dumped. Hey, what up, Randy? Randy's poking his head through the... You guys can't see. We have, like,
that's a nightmare waiting to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna be having a nightmare of Randy's face.
They're doing work on the other side. Well, they're doing work on both
Turbo,
sides.
That's what it was.
Turbo, I remember Turbo.
Yeah.
But let's talk about a name which just made... Oh, let's not. Let's talk about BTCC, everybody, because in 14 years, they've had 0 hacks and 0 excuses because they deliver where others don't. You can trade Bitcoin up to 500 leverage. You can trade Tesla. You can trade gold. You can trade Forex. And with smart copy trading, you don't just watch the pros, you can trade like them. Regulated in the US, Canada, and Europe, trusted by 6.8 million traders. And on top of that, there is an exclusive for all of our Trader TV Live viewers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description box for a 15% deposit bonus. At btcc.com, it's where the pros trade, and now so can you. Another place you can trade is on Robinhood.
Apparently.
Just crossing over 10% now, Neil, is HOOD, Robinhood. What a day. Very few red candles on this 15-minute chart. Okay, Joe, get it. All right. So it was... It's up big today, headed for all-time highs, if not already at all-time highs. Chief Executive Vlad Tenev said in a social media post this morning that more than 4 billion contracts, event contracts, I should say, have been traded on Robinhood's platform since the brokerage started offering the product. Last week, a pair of Piper Sandler analysts raised their price targets for Robinhood, citing, that exact same reason, the brokerage's fast-growing prediction market business here. So good look for Robinhood, just cleared 10%, boys.
Monster day for Robinhood. And this was one that didn't, it's not like you have a bunch of fintech running with it. SoFi got smoked today. At least it was smoked most of the day. Not really doing very well. And they've been kind of moving in concert recently. But this is just, it's been HOOD's world. I mean, since getting added to the S&P 500, the growth story is real. You're going to 23/5 trading. You know what I mean by that, like 24-hour trading. That'll happen next year at some point, and Robinhood stands to benefit from that. Whether it's, and now you have them, sort of getting some of the growth that Kalshi has. I mean, the Kalshi events betting market has been growing ridiculously, and now you have Robinhood with massive numbers. It was like 4 billion, doubling the rate from last year. It's impressive. It's all-time highs right now, so like it's a blue sky setup when you're at all-time highs. There's no levels to work off of. I just think any prior consolidation level tends to be a good spot to look for some transaction. I don't know if you happen to see VWAP today, that's also the prior high. So if in power hour there's anything that gets into that level, I think it's a good dip. Certainly tomorrow, if it tries to play back off the 130, it makes some sense. That being said, if this was SoFi, because I own SoFi, I don't own this. People say don't sell at all-time highs. I'd probably be taking a piece off over this 130, just to feel like I banked something.
Yeah, I would have taken it off a heck of a long time ago. I think if you're not taking something off now, if you had, it's a little silly. We know Joe took some off at 122. Around here, we like that honesty. So shout out to Joseph for taking it out. Look, the Robinhood right now, you can have a quick little look. It's 4.9% short float. It's not huge. The PEs are 59 and 61. I think that's reasonable for growth stocks. So despite this recent move up, you still got a decent PE right there. If you wanted to switch over, into a SoFi or something like that, you're not even gaining that much value there because you're 50 and 55 instead of 61 and 60 or whatever it was there for Robinhood. So I really like SoFi. I think it continues to work for me. The stock, look, it's one thing to talk about stocks that have happened, and that's great. Let's try to figure out where can we make money moving forward, right? I mean, I've already sort of missed the run on Robinhood for sure, but not missing the run on Webull. So I'm long into Webull here at about, I think it was 11.20 or something like that. So this is another possibility here with very, very similar reasons to that of Robinhood. I think they can get back to the upside. We just wait to hear, more stats on their data as far as who's over there, who's playing, what their numbers look like, so on and so forth. And let the gloating continue. 350 in the money now on Tesla. So we just got our fill there, and now let's see where we could go back up to the high side. 443.80 is our next stopping spot. So we're getting ready to get printed right there, and then we'll hold right there back to VWAP. Lows of the day twice into VWAP is pretty good. If we break it and the market actually wants to go, maybe we have a real good one here on Tesla. We waited all day, literally, for this to finally break through VWAP, and this is the first time it may or may not do that since 9:45. So we got a little bit of VWAP love right there. And now that I see it failing just a little bit, I'm gonna take an offer. I'll just offer some there. I actually put an offer out at 49, and you can see people are sort of stepping on top of that. There it is. Okay, we got out at 49. Now I'm gonna re-put that back at 80. And so instead of being patient and waiting for 80s, we took 20s, 22s, 49s, and now we'll wait, and hopefully we'll be able to get 80 right here and get back there to the upside. So let's go Tesla, and let's go and get some, of course. I don't know if you could smoke CBD or not. I have CBD for my knee and everything at home, like a cream. So I haven't used it in a while, but I think
it was effective.
I think it was. It was. I have to check it out. It's definitely expired.
No. That's
but I think it was.
It worked for you.
I'm not sure. Can't remember, but it was a long time ago.
I mean,
my knee is in pain every day, so I don't know if it got better or worse from it, but
it could have been psychological. You never know.
But that's the thing about CBD, and I think that's what President Trump is trying to say. It's like we get addicted in this country to all these opioids that are just simply not healing anything. They're just turning off little neutrons or whatever in your head.
I will say this.
To think that you're fixed, but meanwhile, it's a disaster.
Glaucoma legitimately runs in my family. On my mother's side, it's like it is a coin flip, the generation above me, whether they get glaucoma, and not everybody, my mother has never tried it, and I've suggested it to her. But I can tell you right now, for a lot of others, and I have family members that can attest to this, it is an absolute game changer.
Yeah, CBD.
Some of the pain that you get from migraines, the headaches from glaucoma, it's ridiculous. And anyways, we'll talk about it here. I just feel like it is absolutely a no-brainer for a lot of things. But I didn't know that about the knee.
Yeah, bring it in. I mean, it's you can get CBD oils now for everything.
Okay.
No, but there's no THC, there's no psycho whatever.
What about for Achilles tendonitis? No, just kidding.
So perfect. You should be probably putting it all over your. I have arthritis in my knee. I'm loaded with arthritis. Yeah, I've got more arthritis than I do shares of Tesla. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we're speaking from experience over here. Let's go get YCMBD, Young Money, Cash Money Millionaires.
So this company only creates THC-free CBD products, Sean. So right down your alley. American company. It's called CBD MD is the name of the company. Obviously, the ticker is YCBD. And the reason why we're running here on all these cannabis stocks, or most of them anyways, President Donald Trump's pro-CBD video that he posted to Truth Social sparked a rally, obviously, in cannabis stocks at large. The video, which was created by the Commonwealth Project, which advocated for CBD coverage under Medicare and claimed a potential healthcare savings of around $64 billion annually. Obviously, this comes after comments made back in August by the Trump administration, continuing what had already started under the Biden administration from reclassifying the drug from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. We'll keep tabs on that. Separately, midday, we got this headline coming in from the Department of Justice, which requested an extension on marijuana's rescheduling case, but the decision could still come anytime, reports the Marijuana Herald. With respect to this stock, boys, we are about 31% off the day's high.
Yeah, unfortunately, it did pull back. I mean, look, Tilray had a great day today. I shouldn't even say had a great day. I should say it's having a great day. And really, this isn't it's not that horrible a shot play here. Like a lot of these, and I'll pull up Tilray in a second because that's what I spend most time looking at. But you've made a distinctive bottom in a lot of these cannabis names, and then you're breaking away from a higher low. So a low got made, you put in a higher low, and now you're breaking away from that higher low. This one happens to be holding pretty decently. The prior high, this 110. Like if you start holding this on any kind of a consolidation, which I think is what needs to happen. Like this is a stock crazy, then consolidate before it does anything next, then you get a big day. You're looking for it to consolidate, then break out of that consolidation. So I think that's the next step for YCBD. 175 million volume, which is fantastic. It's under VWAP. That doesn't really bode well for this afternoon. I don't like a runner underneath the volume weighted average price in the afternoon. That kind of stinks. But still, it looks pretty decent on that daily chart. And then Tilray, and you can look at any of these names, but Tilray up 49%, and still it's at the high of the day as we speak. And just like YCBDs we're talking about, like a bottom got made, and it's been putting in some actual higher lows. This is an actual trend break happening in this space. I don't know how far it can go. I think we all understand that it's not as lucrative of a business as margin-wise as I guess the hype a few years ago would have suggested, but it doesn't mean some of these names can at least rally a little bit further. This has some room to get to the $2 level, and I think, at least temporarily, this is a long until proven otherwise. There hasn't even been much of a dip buy on Tilray. YCBD, yes, but Tilray's literally at the high day up 50%.
Oh, man. Yeah, what's up to, that was funny, Richard. Yeah, I'm gloating about the amount of arthritis I have. Yeah, it's so hilarious. Yeah, it sucks. Anyways, all right, so right now, YCBD, okay, look, I've already said this. I think the MSOS is the right spot. It's basically flat for the month. I mean, if this, Trump now speaking alongside Netanyahu as we speak, so, more to come from there once we get Adara through, and we got to let Sharif go. So I just want to say, like, this is, yeah, it's okay, don't worry about it, Sharif. I was just going to say that Adara will have updates, so we'll get through this and then we'll have that. But 560 right here, that's where MSOS started the month. It's still down on the month, although it did have a nice move back into $4, which held great. I just think that if there is more to know about cannabis or CBD or, some sort of a legal, motion here to get this reclassified or whatever the heck happens, I just think you want to be part of an ETF instead of an individual name. I mean, the guy literally beside me that lives right beside me, he's Portuguese. He's about 85 years old. No lie. He has about 20 tomato, but he has about every single kind of plant, vegetable that you can even name. And for the first time this year, my wife and I looked over, he has weed plants about 8 to 9 feet high, just loaded with buds. I'm thinking about yoinks, grabbing those, but no. So eventually he's going to be trimming those up. So I'm just thinking about it like this 85-year-old man over here, and I'm sure maybe, I don't know what strain they are. I'm going to have to ask him. But, maybe he's growing them, they're laced, maybe they're high CBD strains and whatnot. So I just wanted to say, like, now around here, especially around Canada, in Ontario for sure, you can grow your own weed. And we don't even have great climate here to do that. And my guys' plants are literally chilling. I'd say they're 8 feet high, at least. Like my fence is 5 or 6 feet, whatever. I was gonna say, like, whatever the legal height of the fence is, this is higher than that, and there's 2 of them right beside each other. So I am not. Share. Plus, I've lost more money than, here comes gloating again, more money than I can even think of, lost in cannabis names, and a lot of that is with some of these growers. So I would just say, stay with. I like. Scott's Miracle Grow, which is SMG. So I think that could also be, they've been getting killed too. So I'd have to go back and look. But I think in any kind of a legal environment, this could work as well. I just remember this working back in the day, and so was GRWG, which is Grow Generation Brands. I'm not in any of these names. I was just going to say, like, these are sort of tertiary, like secondary. Okay, well, look, there goes a name that we didn't even talk about today. I didn't have no idea this was what it was doing, but this is Grow Generation Brands again. Could make moves, especially if legalization starts to get going. So that's what's going on right now with cannabis and Grow Generation Brands, Tilray, and I would just be an MSOS if my choice. Dealer's choice.
So President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are doing a joint press conference right now, as Sean alluded to. President Donald Trump making statements that he's reached some sort of deal here that goes beyond just the Gaza conflict. It includes a larger Mideast peace plan, including Iran and some other countries. Still very light on information as the press conference just started. They haven't even started taking questions. So I'm sure Adair will follow up with that. But be on the lookout for market moves, as he called this one of the greatest days. Well, we know he's got a tendency for hyperbole. Going on to the next one, Micron. No specific catalyst today on Micron, but there is an unusual options activity note. But really, it's Micron, global foundries, and local domestic chip manufacturers that make domestic chips for the United States. Obviously, very strong after the headline broke Friday that the Trump administration was looking at charging a tariff on imported semiconductors if the equivalent amount of semiconductors used by that company were not manufactured domestically. Micron manufactures domestically. Global foundries here, which is also up 4.5%, manufactures domestically. So keep your eye out on these names, boys.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Like you're getting a really, maybe a little bit of a shift, I think, in terms of where the growth has been going recently in the chip space, and Micron's benefited from it. I just wanted to show the historical PE on Micron, because when it's consolidated, it's had a tendency to have these like spikes. And if you look at it, like it spiked here, and when it spiked, oddly enough, like the stock price continued to go even when it pulled back. And you got this spike here, and then obviously pull back, but we still continue to go. And we're kind of getting a new one coming in. Like we had the spike, we have this consolidation going. It's not ridiculously expensive, Micron, but it's still, like right now, its last was like 28 on a PE. When it gets really cheap, it's not always the greatest value play in the world because it'd be pretty cyclical, but it's really turning into a bit of a growth name here. And the last dip held the prior high, technically, so that's pretty solid. Like the 155, to hold on to that 2024 top twice now on a dip buy, I think maybe a challenge of that all-time high could be in play for Micron. We'll talk some of the other chips, obviously, but Micron, yeah, it's really turning into, it moves like a growth stock. Forget about all the boring stuff of last year. Micron's on a different beat. You got to trade it like a momentum stock the same way you'd look at what I think AMD is doing and what Nvidia has done, even though right now it's kind of chilling out in the 180s and can't break that all-time high. But Micron's on a different tip lately.
Look, we had written down Micron last week here as a play on September 25th. This was day 2. We were shorting the pop above 162, 160 to 162 or 155. And I remember that day, here it is right here, on how we traded Micron. We were going short early, got hit before eventually shorting the top. And this actually went lower. This is as of 1 o'clock. But Micron has had a very, very busy week. And now you can see what's happening with it today, up 4%. What was a good quarter seems to have been good for sure, as many rebounds there in Micron, and I think it continues to work. I mean, it's the same reason why we're long Marvell and all that kind of stuff. I just think there's other plays other than the pure plays here that you want to look at. So Micron and Marvell and all those stocks continue to work out. So yeah, really like the name Micron, and I like Marvell, but I think I like Marvell just a little bit better. The only thing about Marvell is it just missed that top again here today. This was a triple break once, and then we already came up today and then again failed. So once, twice, I guess, and then again today. So the third or fourth time that we've tried this level here at 85, 84.50 or so. And Marvell said, no, thank you.
We got a couple super chats
for that one. Okay,
three?
yeah.
Oh.
We missed a bunch of super chats.
Yeah, and by a couple of super chats, I mean 3. Apparently we got 3 super chats. So Control Alt Escape. Oh, this is BBAI, so I'll pass one to you.
Right.
I didn't see this one. So Control Alt Escape, is BBAI considerable buy from this 650 level, or would you wait for a run to the 200 EMA? Thank you, Control Alt Escape. Vaughn Clark, are you going to take Ford with me this time? Probably not. Like Ford, to me, that $12 level break, that was for like the time that it broke. The other, like it was it Friday or was it Thursday? Let me double check.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was it was Friday. Yeah, it was on Friday. Like it broke that $12 level pretty cleanly, And the reason we liked it that day, despite not being at the desk when it happened, was all of these times, like look at the consolidation play. Like once it's already broken and come back, the breaking of 12 again to me isn't that big of a deal, but good luck on the trade. I'm not that interested in it a second time through. I think if it can have its first close above 12, there might be like a swing idea you could play off of. Maybe like a long closing above 12, giving it to underneath the 50 period. Like this supports at like 11.30 something, so you're risking, I don't know, like 70 pennies on that, which isn't all that bad. It's like less than 10%, and then maybe you get a swing trade on 4 because it's breaking out. That would be more interesting to me, not the day trade at all. Then Ryan Nola, you've got a big position long in the trade desk. Okay, 46, you're targeting 55 and potential gap fill above. We're asking you for suggestions on playing this. Neil and the others, thanks for all that you do. So thank you, Ryan. I like that swing trade because you're in it as it's actually breaking out of a low, double bottom, and then break the consolidation. You're targeting 65. Probably that support level. I'm always like, take some out in front of the 50 period and the 200 period for a big, if it trends down for a really long time, I like getting out at the major moving averages myself. But I like that setup on the trade desk. Let it make the bottom, and you seem like you've got it there.
Yeah. For me too. Same kind of ways there on trade desk. So I was just looking at it because, what's up, Ryan? You had asked about it. I think trade desk is involved in many things, right? I mean, first of all, this is BBAI. We can look at trade desk though. So you're long there at here. I mean, I know Neil just did this question, but he says at Sean suggestions on playing this. So 46 with targeting 55 area, potentially filling the gap above. So all right, Ryan, I'll do a little bit of work for you on this one. So I was thinking about it. So these guys, again, obviously, they're primarily in the US, so I think that there is some ad growth potential. Just like how we said about Reddit and all that kind of stuff as we continue to move forward, they're going to be more involved with the traditional, TV ad model there, not as much with Google or with Amazon and Google AdWords and all that kind of advertising. So there is some headwinds involved with TTD as we continue to watch sort of streaming coming on board and being very, very, dominating right now. The thing I don't like about the trade desk, and I think for your trade specifically, it's probably fine. I mean, I would say it is fine, is that you have a bottom pick right there. If you're going to talk about it and you are going up to 55 area, I think you've nailed it. So my first area to get out though would be 52 if I had some chances to do that. 52.50 right there. Then if you can get 55, perfect. And then that break of 55 is actually more what you're looking for. And I think you can get that break of 55 up into the 200 period. But these are pretty much sloping real bad to the downside. So again, not in love with the model that they have, but I do think that there is an opportunity for them, especially when you're beat up so much. Look at Adobe or, I don't know, some of the other names that have really found a base. And we saw that Google got really scared after their sort of search was potentially damaged by what ChatGPT and what AI was doing. I think this one might be overdone. The trade desk was such a great trade for a very, very long time. So I think you might have got a good level there. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, just be aware here with regards to geopolitics. We have this press conference that started now between Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, and Donald Trump, President of the U.S. Trump just announced that there's going to be a new body called the Board of Peace, and that will be a new international organization, I guess, arranged to help get some peace in the Middle East. Just letting you guys know with regards to oil, with regards to, sometimes these geopolitical updates can move the market. This Board of Peace has just been announced. Back to you.
The Board of Peace.
Oh, okay. Right. Down with that.
I mean, who's not for peace? It's just I find when usually names like that happen, it's like, it doesn't usually accomplish what you want. But we'll see. I mean, we can always all hope for peace. So that's just obviously the reality. It's hard not to mention that. And well, okay, so I'm going to tell you that Lockheed Martin looks really good. Because it does, man. And I know not everybody likes investing in these kinds of things, but this has been on a pretty big break. I think you're about to get, we should come to the chart for a second. Like the last couple of times it's been to 500, that's where the pullback has happened. And I think this one will be pretty telling. is it's already dipping off 5 bills. A hold of the 200 period moving average, and I think you're good to go. And this just comes down to military spending only goes up. The USA says we're not going to spend as much, but they actually hold NATO to account and get everybody there to finally bump up a little more. Now, nobody in NATO actually spends what the goals are, but Germany's increasing and lots of others are increasing. Heck, I was just in Halifax, and even the Canada, like, we may talk about how much, we're going to try to meet our obligations, and even if we fall under, we're still going to be increasing to a certain degree under Carney some of our military spending. So Lockheed, I think it's an important pullback here. If it can hold the 200 period moving average, it's going to look a heck of a lot better. That rally from the 420 bottom, like, to me, you already got the move to resistance. So at this point, you're looking for some consolidation or pullback. Nvidia, for the third time, not a charm. It's really starting to, I don't want to say it's really starting to give it up, but it is certainly sliding backside on the trade now, underneath the volume weighted average price. It tried to hold 182 a couple of times. That was essentially like the first dip zone right away at the open, but not holding on to it anymore as it starts to head into the downside. And there's something else I was going to get to. It'll come to me in a quick little second. I feel like it was Apple. That's what it was. For some reason, I don't really know what was going on with Apple. Could have just been the market bounce, but Apple was on the verge of breaking out after kind of a lackluster day, slowly trending down. There was some concern over, I guess, how the rollout of the iPhone and maybe not going as quickly or as well as they would have wanted, but holds on to prior lows. Like, all the support that we've had around 251, that's still held up, and now it's trying to bounce off the volume weighted average price. So Apple was in a bit of a program buy, and now pulling back into the volume weighted average price. I'd like to see it hold. If it can hold VWAP, it's got some relative strength in the last 30 minutes or so, and it wasn't really doing much of anything, and all of a sudden when you get that program buy, it's always going to pique my interest.
I'm happy that we were able to, on AMD here, I am going to get some out if we get it back up to 162.50, and that's it, end the trade. Right up here into VWAP, let's just get it out. I mean, we were just being silly with it. We have very, 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 very small amount of shares left, and we're just going to get it out. So if we could do that, we'll do that around 162.50, just around VWAP, and end this trade. It was a good idea to get out of Tesla. I mean, we're still in it, but on this way up, we were talking about low of the day into VWAP, so we are getting some out on the way up, and it's funny because we didn't need to get them out on the way up because we wind up getting our 80 fill, but that was a good one, and now it's fading back in. So I think we want to get longer on this name. It's just waiting to make sure. If it comes back into 440, then that will be a spot where we will do some of this, and we'll reload it once again, as we've been reloading this name the whole day. So we'll have to wait to see that, but it is bouncing off or maybe getting into the 200 period moving average again right there. I'm still looking to see like what's moving on my trade rate right now. We have Tesla, TLRY, Robinhood still ripping. Robinhood's past all-time highs. Before today was 130.07. Right now you're at 135 and looking to break out again, like bouncing right off the 21 period and going higher now, escalating, taking the elevator straight up and hopefully not straight down, but this is not stair stepping. These are like when this goes, it's starting to go. There was a nice move down right into there. Some volume came in around 2 o'clock, but there goes Robinhood up 11% and smoking.
PayPal
right now.
Also had a big move
I love
as
PayPal.
Well. But I don't know if it was news. I couldn't find any news. There was no news on PayPal or anything like that, but we saw a similar spike. Oh yeah, last week there was news, but PayPal had a pretty strong day today as well. I just want to remind everybody in the chat here, not to call people up, but hey, a few people, there's the dollar sign. See, by grace, TTD, there you corrected yourself. If you're gonna type a symbol in the chat, please use the dollar sign first, and then the symbol, then we can have all the names that you guys are interested in popping in here. So I can see Iran and Wolf and Costco actually. It's not one you see every single day. Webull, Trade Desk, JD, BMNR, ACN, Accenture. So yeah, make sure you type in that dollar sign before the symbol so we have an idea of the symbols that you guys are interested in on a given day. For now, let's head on to the desk. We have an interview, guest of the afternoon.
Wow, I didn't
We're so excited here to welcome back to the show our friend from Global X Canada, Jonathan McGuire, Vice President of Communications at Global X. So great to have you back on the show with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting time, too, for you guys because you've just finished the second week of the biggest winner competition. You were on a while ago to tell us a little bit about the competition. Can you remind us what the goal is of this competition and what exactly it entails?
Yeah, so week 2 is done, and we are in week 3 of the biggest winner competition, and that is Canada's largest and longest running ETF trading competition. It is a simulated risk-free trading opportunity where traders get $100,000 in fantasy funds to put their mettle to the test and see if they can generate the highest portfolio return over a 6-week period.
Thank you so much for going over that with us again. So now let's dive into this year's competition a little bit more. We've had a couple weeks now under everyone's belt. How are the traders doing so far, and what does the leaderboard look like right now?
You know, it's, as you might imagine, it's a mixed bag. We have some traders that have generated double-digit portfolio returns, and then on the other side, we have some traders that have generated double-digit losses in their portfolio, and that is to be expected. This is a competition where you are going to take a little bit of risk because these are fantasy funds and see if you can take that right part of the trade. We have seen a lot of traders using inverse and leveraged ETFs, which makes sense if you're trying to generate the highest portfolio return over a 6-week period. And so it's something where we are still in the early days of the competition. It's still anybody's game. I think that those traders that are at losses can still recover, and those traders that are riding high right now, well, hopefully they can maintain that position.
Being able to use leverage ETFs in this type of competition certainly is really exciting and adds a bit of intrigue to the proceedings for sure. Now, beyond these leverage ETFs, have you noticed any other key trades or trading trends that are popping up so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you just said, leveraged and inverse leveraged ETFs have been a huge part of this competition. And historically, that's always been the case as well when we've looked at how winners have gotten to their high portfolio returns over a 6-week period. It's been by using these ETFs. Now, in particular, I have seen a lot of usage of commodity-focused leveraged ETFs. So things that are providing exposure to natural gas, to oil. And recently, this past week, week 2, we saw a lot of use of silver, which makes sense. Silver just hit a 14-year high. And, you know, I think that we're going to continue to see silver and gold used throughout this competition as a way to generate that big return.
I was going to say gold as well, especially after today. That might be something that stops or starts popping up in the leaderboard as well. Now, do you have any tips for traders, I guess maybe on a more general note, as they enter week 3 of the competition?
You know, I can't speculate and say where the market's going to go. I'll leave that to your traders. If I could do that myself, I'd probably be spending my days day trading instead. But I will say that I think that we have seen this trend of commodities being a huge part of the competition. And I think that we have also seen kind of a commodity super cycle taking place in the markets recently. I think that if they continue to look at oil, at natural gas, silver, and gold, these might be key tickers and trades to continue to play with, and just making sure that they find the right market timing, whether they're going leveraged up or leveraged down, can be the difference between generating a great return or taking some losses that week.
Yeah, great points. Are there any other final thoughts that you have that you'd like to share with our audience about this competition or about what you're doing over at Global X in general?
So I would say that, you know, this is week 3 and it is a 6-week competition, but it is still early days. And Canadians can still sign up for the competition and play all the way to week 6. The $20,000 prize for the biggest winner is still attainable. And there's also $1,000 weekly cash prizes that can be won as well. So even if you don't think that you can get there by the end of week 6 by starting today, you could still win $1,000 for that weekly prize. So I encourage everybody watching, if you're a Canadian, sign up for the competition and play, and happy trading, and I hope to see you in the winner's circle.
Yeah, very exciting. Thanks again for being here with us today. Jonathan McGuire, Vice President of Communications at Global X. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you there, Jonathan. And
thumbs up.
Yeah, any Canadians out there, if you're interested, go check it out, try it out, test your luck for sure. And leverage ETFs, At the end of the day, like as a trading vehicle, everybody knows they're trading vehicles, not necessarily investment vehicles because of decay, but fantastic in terms of getting more out of the market moves, which we are in a volatile market. Let's be real. You know, we're making fresh highs. Like we were just talking about the NASDAQ, like the last few, like the month. Like September is usually not supposed to be very good, and we're getting 4 points out of it, and that's like the third month in a row that it's been pretty solid. We're in a bull market, and you see so much movement and so much volatility. So right now, definitely take advantage of it. I was going to mention how strong a day PayPal. I just want to correct myself. Like, I'm pretty sure I said PayPal was having a really good day. I didn't see what happened to PayPal in the middle of the day, and I don't see a news story that caused this to reverse the way that it did. But on volume, PayPal actually gave back a good portion of the move. Like this was up over 5% today. And looking to me like, hey, there's going to be our close above the 50-period moving average. Now that's actually under threat. This might not close. A foregone conclusion. This was going to close above the 50-period moving average, and then it was going to look at potential swing breakout and another wick top up here. For some reason, it just doesn't want to hold. When this breaks 70, go back to August 13th. The number of times that it has broken $70 and how it never closes above $70. That's a little disappointing. Still a little bit of a chance that it could happen today, but disappointment. I thought this was ready for a swing. And then on nothing, I looked up. There's no news that I saw hit the wire at 1 o'clock that would explain why this dropped like $2 in one candle. So kind of a weird one here on PayPal. Might not end up being that swing after all.
Yeah, who knows? I'm still in that name from a very, very long time. I'll have to double check to see. My biggest positions still are all the mega cap names, but we do exit right now. Watch out. It's gloating time. There it is, man. Don't gloat too much with too many glizzies. You don't want those to go down the wrong hatch over there. We had hot dogs for the very first time in like 6 months on the weekend because we were so busy with everything. But shout out to Stony Creek. It was really fun. I like going down there. It was
hot dogs or sausages, though?
Actual hot dogs on the barbecue. Okay. We barbecued them up yesterday for lunch, but we didn't. I don't really like hot dogs, actually. We're just running out of time. So right there, we are now out of AMD there at VWAP. So that concludes that trade right there. And yeah, it'll be the #1 P&L name for me today. I only have 2 trades on. I've only made 2 trades. I only made 1 trade in AMD, and that was the long. The other name that we traded was Tesla, whereby I have a lot of fills. Yeah, what's up, Phil? Hope you're doing well. Actually, so crazy. Another one of my good friends now on the hockey team is named Phil. Again, we talked about that. I cannot believe.
No, but what's weird is
the amount of Phils that I know now.
But I only know my dad and my brother.
I know. I don't
know any other Phils.
That's crazy.
Actually, that's not true. There was a Phil in our high school. What was his? Oh, there was a Phil.
Was there a Phil?
Yeah, the math guy. He went to what was his last name? Now I don't know. That's bad. It was Philip. He went by Philip, though. Oh. So there was a guy in our high school. But that said...
Math guy?
I just know he won...
I didn't know him.
He won the Gauss... There's like this Gauss math competition that happens in Canada, and like I remember he won it for our school, and then got like a math scholarship. But he was Philip, not Philip. Okay. Phil's not a very common name.
No, it's not. That's why this guy's name is Philip as well, of course. But so anyways, we got... Props up. We got a Phil. Right there. I'm just going to take another one right now on Tesla. We still have shares, and we're still thinking this can break. We just bounced off the 200 PD, their moving average, period moving average, and it's an SMA. So all the moving averages that I have on my screen are all going to be SMAs, simple moving averages. All right, Rigetti, Intel moving. Intel back to 24, that's in a couple months. Right now, $34. Intel right here, nice bounce back I'm seeing. Yeah, so just hitting some scanners, coming back up into the high of the day again is Intel, which is still down 2%, but definitely off that bottom. So, you know, I was anyways, it was on here as a short. It was the only short idea that I had today, and it was really a short right off the open. And since then, it hasn't come into any of my levels, which is this 35.60 that we posted up. That was just a close from Friday. I mean, it'd be great to get back up there. I'd like to see that happen. Maybe we'll get some more out, but this has been at a very, very key level where I don't think it's a surprise that a lot of traders were getting out of Intel in and around on Friday's move, because it just hit again right here on the daily. This is why I was talking about it, right? Like, I could be wrong. I like what Jonathan McGuire from Global X just said there. He can't predict what's about to happen in the markets, and neither can I. I can just trade what I see, right? That's why BigBear AI was $5.50, $6.50, $7.50, $8.50, and Intel was $30. We got out at $30.70, and then we got out on Friday right here as well when that pumped through. So yeah, man. I mean, when things make sense, they're a lot easier. It's just hard to find those trades. That's for sure. So, but yeah, Intel right there at a very key level. There are other names that are also at key levels. I did hear a call for Adair. I didn't hear anything in my ear, but if there is, you can let me know. Andre, here, I'm not, there it is. Okay, good. I want to make sure that you did get me. All right, let's go over to Adair.
FSLI up significantly here. I looked into this. I could not find any news on this, but either way, Fastly to the upside. Decent amount of social media attention, most of which is just people expressing confusion over this push to the upside. Again, if I get news, I'll let you know. Back to you.
There's a lot of things moving without actual news today. But here's one, because Robinhood's at still top of the list. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the stock visualizer. Robinhood, I think rightfully so, up 11%. It makes a lot of sense. Webull here, only up 2%, coming in at number 2, and then ACN, Accenture after their report last week. It was last week, right? Accenture reported last week. Yeah, it was last week.
Yes.
I don't remember what day it was. Certainly last week. But Webull looks nice. And I know we talked about this.
Accenture.
Potentially, yeah. Accenture's up like 4 points today.
Yeah, I'm glad we did that study last week.
Where is it? 4%, 249. I love this feature, which is, thank you so much to Fabian. The fact that it's not just, you get the ticker, you also can see like what the percentage is up on the day, and stop moving around. And then you can have a quick look at the current price and all that. You can click on it, get a little bit of a chart, how much volume it's done on the day. So fantastic stuff there. Thank you, Fabian. We appreciate it. But Webull, here we go, Webull. I know you didn't want to get us back in under $11. That's fine, because sometimes buying higher is even better. It just means the move is sustaining itself, making higher lows. So we got the close on Friday above the 50-period moving average. It held $15 today, which actually at one point was in question. It literally wicked $15 at the open. And knock on wood is going to close above 15 here today. So I think I'm looking breakout tomorrow on Webull. That was the condition we're looking for. And ultimately, when you have a key level like this, and it rinses it like multiple times on Friday, like I want to see it hold on Monday. And now you've got yourself a bit of a base. I think if this breaks out tomorrow, it'd be nice if it got to 18 tomorrow, but if it breaks out tomorrow, then you're looking for like 16.5 to 17 as a bit of a target on Webull. So strong name, like what I'm seeing. And the other thing we did not talk much about today is what is going on with these miners. Bitcoin having a very good run. I was actually just looking at ETH holding VWAP, but IBIT's up 4.5%. I get it. It's a 24-hour market, so does it really matter? What the heck is, all right, I don't know why VWAP is not working on this chart. That is absolutely bizarre. It doesn't really matter. It's up 4.5%. Clearly VWAP's not up there. For some reason, it's starting at 150 on this chart. But super strong move here for Bitcoin. And with it, you're seeing Riot. You're seeing MARA up 15% today on MARA. Riot as well making a power move into a pretty big $12 or $20 level, up 12, actually now 13% to the upside. Both of these are strong breaks, although MARA looks a little bit better technical, like you're not chasing it. Like Riot, like you're right at those highs already. Whereas MARA, like, remember that 50 to 250 period, 200 period breakout? That's happening right now. And you could still have a 19 quarter breakout tomorrow. Mm-hmm. What I got eyeballs on is ETH consolidating off VWAP right now. So Bitcoin's at the highs, ETH is up, but it's kind of going sideways off VWAP. So I want to take a shot at this one off of the volume weighted average price if it can play a little bit of catch up this afternoon. ETH, obviously ETHA is what I'm looking at, but Ethereum held the 4,000 level, now chilling at 41.6. So a nice bounce off 4,000 for Ethereum in general.
I just want to say what's up to Tom D here, because I know, I was just going through my Twitter, and I mean, this is why I'm here on Twitter, to sort of communicate with you guys. You're just mentioning that you thought it's unfair that Sean asked for feedback and critique, but then when you're asking some questions, you got blocked and muted, and you're a huge fan of mine. Well, thank you so much. We'll give you props for reaching out. So I just responded to you same kind of ways, man. It was just like, I'm not sure why you're blocked. Let me know why and when, and then, or not just when, but just why. And
in
then,
the chat?
Yeah, sometimes we have bots in the chat. Like, you know, there's just, unfortunately, we used to have Bears versus Bulls who had to step away. His own decision.
I think sometimes if it's spam.
So what I was gonna say is, yeah, like if you're probably not in here, Tom, but I just want to say to anybody else that's in there and has been blocked by the chat, just message me at TraderTV Sean, and I will look into it for you, because we want to have as many people in the chat as possible, and especially like I said, if you give any sort of a feedback, like, you know, the feedback was a little bit more precise trading, you know, for me, trade less names, and it's really been working out for me. And so I want to be able to be here and adjust my trading and take feedback from you guys on how to better present the show, how to better do everything, because that's what it's all about, right? Neil and I don't get any feedback if not from you guys, so that's what we want. All right, so right here, only 285, so this is what we got to get going now. 4,700, so, you know, I hope you guys respect the honesty and appreciate the way we're talking. Hit the like button right now if you haven't done that yet, and, you know, again, besides those ads that you guys see throughout the show, it's completely free content, and we hope to be educating you guys, you know, as much as possible. So definitely message me ASAP, and I'll do my best to unblock you and give you just one more chance. You know, I think that's the fair thing to do.
Well, all you have to do is, if you, well, I mean, we could drop the email or just give their actual
just
ID.
DM me. Just DM me right there on X or on Instagram. The easiest way to do it.
So by the way, we had another super chat here. I think we might have missed this one as well. Fiddleback.
Okay.
Fiddleback. I wish we could color code us on how we trade. I would love to quickly determine who is a swing trader and who is a day trader. I like to swing. I mean, an easy way to do that, and I know this would be putting work. If you want to, like, you can include that in your name. I don't know how easily we could pull that off.
Well, we can't do anything.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
A great idea.
I can say it would be great if everybody maybe just added something to their name, saying day trader, swing trader,
well, look,
investor.
There's only like 50 people in the chat.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You guys can do that right
but
now.
what I would simply say to you is this: like, we have a really great community. Like, if you just, like, for those that are in there, like, asking questions and discussing with each other, just be open about it, right? Like, we're here day trading, and we try to do our best to let you know, hey, if I'm, like, what was I talking about a second ago? I mentioned Ford. It wasn't Ford. It was, no, it wasn't BBAI. It was, no, it was Webull. Webull. Hold that 50 period, and PayPal as well. Those are swing trading ideas. Like, I was never intending on day trading PayPal. I just wanted that sucker to close above 70 bucks so there'd be a swing trade. I don't do a lot of swing trades, but we'll mention that. Or if it's a long-term buy, like, ooh, on my long-term account, I bought Amazon off the 200 period moving average. Like, we always try to identify that. So just do that with everyone else in the in the chat. Like, if you lead by example, if you say that's what time frame I'm looking at and you put that in when you make a comment, then maybe others will follow. So we're going to go to Adair in a quick little second. Just grabbed ETH off of VWAP, and crypto having a very good day today.
Just be aware, guys, lots of geopolitical talk happening here as the market pushes a little bit lower. We do have Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, speaking right now. He and Donald Trump have basically both said that if Hamas does not agree to this peace deal, there could be consequences, more or less, for the region. So just keep an eye here on the market. Again, geopolitical discussions continuing to be had by right now Prime Minister Netanyahu, but Trump also previously spoke at the press conference. Now we know that usually these press conferences do end with some type of question and answer period. If that happens, I will let you know when that begins. Back to you.
All right. I'm wearing the Palantir hat, so why don't we just go in PLTR, thanks to Trader Brad, who got me this hat when he was still here. All right, so 180, 181 right here on a downside play there, bouncing off of VWAP. It's starting to head a little bit lower. So I'm going to take this opportunity right now to get a little bit lighter and just punch the bid right there out on some Tesla. If some of these names are going to start to lose a little bit of steam, let's just start to ease out of of this trade again. We've bounced off the 200 period moving average a bunch of times right now, and we are starting to head a little bit lower underneath VWAP, underneath the 50. We already went from low of the day into VWAP. That was already 350. So, you know, my out's going to be a break of 440. So we're getting pretty close to that. Actually, I actually just switched my out to 339. 339 break. Hold on a second. Yeah, 339 break. Because we've been able to get out of so many of these shares right now that, okay, like here's another little bit of a pop. There's only an hour left. I'm gonna put an offer here at 49. I'll just join that offer and see if we could sit there. I'll join the NASDAQ offer to not add another gateway there. So if it comes up and hits me through 50, then we'll be out of another piece now on Tesla as it just continues to go one way or the other. I did not mean to ignore the BBAI note. Someone gave a super chat in there, so I wanna thank you for that as well. And look, we played this one like a glove, like not like fitting like OJ's glove, like it fit almost perfectly, this glove. You know, we had got it on the way back in and we did the whole 650, 750, 850, and that's what we wound up doing again. We actually missed our 850 fill, but that got into 848 or whatever was the high of that day when we just made it there on BigBear AI. But yeah, out again, we're long at $4, and there we go. We just got that. So we got out on the way up there. We're long at $4, and that's from this move down. I actually did not average into it right there. I think the next time that it does fall in, I know your question was, what do you think about 650? I'll tell you in a minute, but you know, the next time this happens, we're going to pick up a little bit more. We'll rebuy the 750s. You know, or whatever. We got out the same amount of shares on the way up. So we'll rebuy where we got out. So sell 750, rebuy 450 if we get a chance, maybe $5. But if you're talking about right now, and again, we want to thank everybody who's fan funding right now. And you can see that thing in the back that's helping us build this up, you know. But there was right there, BBI, consider buy from 650 or would I wait for a run? Yeah, so there, I kind of just answered the question about waiting for the run down into the 200. I think that that's probably a better thing there, control escape, than getting back in it now. But I don't mind what you're thinking about. And I think this 650 right there today, because we do this loop down, I think you can probably think about buying right now and just by 20 or so percent. Like if you break that 650 level, then yeah, I would say we're going, this is a 5-minute chart. Then I would say that you are going to go back into that downside. The 50 period is at $6. Again, I like it. I think, like Neil said there, I know if Amazon ever gets to the 200, we'd like to buy it. But I know that right here, this came back through and it's trying to dance in between. So Amazon is going to be a much different business, of course, than BBAI, so you want to make sure you do get a much better price. My last buy, which was last week, we bought Nvidia at 175 because that was the 50 period moving average, and I wanted it at that level. We had bounced off of there a couple times, and I just thought this was the next one to take out those highs. It's not like we're gloating about this trade or anything right now, but it is here $6 in the money. And that's Amazon still. It is now 6 in the money, but not willing to get it out. This is something I'm trying to hold for, not forever, but hold at least until the 200 break. So I just think when you're buying good companies, remember BBAI does not make any money. You know, it's kind of like Palantir. Why? You don't really need to step in. If you just waited for the 50 period moving average, what's his name comes in and Andrew left and just says, it doesn't have a good PE, and then all of a sudden it goes whoops, right there back into the downside as people are like, what? And then they say, well, wait a second, it's a growth stock, and then it just bounces right back up off of those levels again, right? And so I always think this, depending on, I think Reddit's another great name for. I know I'm just sort of spitballing here, but this is another name. I'm trying to think of growth names that just are hitting at the top of my head right now, like another name where I really like the stock, and it has pulled back, you know, a lot. But to me, it's not yet at this 50 period moving average where I want to sit there and buy. You know, Snapchat was a good call. PayPal was a good call. You know, Marvell at those lows were good, but you got to wait for the lows to come through. And then when they do is when you sort of want to pound. So I think Reddit is another one of those high value names that you want to think about. And then, you know, you wouldn't be a trader
another one
if you didn't keep getting out. So there it is, man. We props it up there for our outs on Tesla. I hope some of you were taking that with us. Miss Adara.
Yeah, President Trump has decided not to take questions today. He actually said it's not the right time for questions. We're still settling things out. Plus, he has to meet with some lawmakers with regards to the government shutdown. So he actually made the call and said no questions today. Alas, this press conference is over. We don't have to worry about any Q&A here with President Donald Trump or Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. They both said we're not going to answer anything right now. Back to you.
Now that you don't see very often. The president doesn't want to take questions. That's interesting. Usually it's like that's any press conference, you know you're going to get some Q&A, and that's where the excitement sort of begins. Be free, if you could. You said, please answer my super chat, and then I couldn't find the super chat. Like I went to fan funding, I didn't see it. If you could just repeat the question, that would be fantastic. I'd love to see. We're never trying to miss a question, but I legitimately don't see the super chat. Like there's only one place I can go, and I just looked it up and didn't see it in there. So
maybe it's for the midday. I don't know.
That's possible. Yeah, it's also a different stream. That makes the most sense. It probably was a midday. But if you're in the chat because you asked again, so just throw the question in. You don't have to send a super chat or anything. Just be free. Throw your question in the chat, and we'll talk right about it. So with the market pulling back, and I'll get to Google in a second because Alphabet caught a little bit of a downward swing a second ago. ETH bouncing off VWAP. I'm looking to see if this can get back into the high. It's just stair-stepping up. The hold of VWAP is something that it didn't do. It did it right away at the open, and if you didn't get it there, it didn't hold it very well the last time, but now it's doing so on momentum. So ETH back above 4,000 looking pretty good, but the market taking a bit of a turn, and partly because Google just broke the low of the day.
Ooh.
And has been trending down. It's only down 1%, but I'd like to say that's distinctly different from everything else. Good news is it's not underneath Thursday's low, so it's not breaking any huge levels. But if we lose 240 on Alphabet, just remember how parabolic this move got on Alphabet when it broke out at 215. You know, that was a really, really quick move of $40 for Alphabet when it was channeling for a really long time. So the 240 level was the most recent break. I think if we lose that, this could be in the nice dip buy mode. Like, who wouldn't want the 50 period again here? The stock really respected this channel, and it was the last bounce off the 50 period moving average, like here, when it started to really channel the top end of the range. So good look there on Alphabet. Well, I mean, it's been a good look on Alphabet. It's not very good today. I think 250 breaks down, and it's time to put in some stink bids if you want to be dip buying this stock. If you don't, then that's up to you. Adara?
Late day private placement announcement here for APDN. Applied DNA Sciences. Look like this might be holded, actually. They're announcing a private placement of up to $58 million to launch BNB Treasury Strategy. So another Treasury strategy play. This one is APDN. Beyond the Treasury strategy news, this is a small cap that's run in the past. It's what we sometimes refer to as a repeat offender. So a small cap making, I guess, one of many moves to the upside in the past anyway. APDN, Treasury strategy play. Back to you.
There it is. Yeah, so it is a treasury strategy play. And just real quickly here, thanks, Chase the Pax. I appreciate your comments in the chat, that's for sure. And then right here, 442. We just got out again right there on Tesla. I'm not feeling this market, man. APDN, all right, applied DNA halted right now. So yeah, good look out, Adara. Thanks for bringing this one up, as this one looks to get lower and lower and lower. Nah, I halted higher right there. So yeah, I mean, good move. I'm just playing around about the lower, but watch out where it's going to open up at. We've already been here before. So there's a complete reverse split, 30-1 or something like that. It looks like they reverse split here as well to get above. It looks like they reverse split there to get above. This is the one thing that our charts actually do good at, is not sort of readjusting sometimes to the reverse split. So it gives us a good idea of when it actually happens. But right there, 220. I don't think that was a reverse split, right? So right now, good move upside. We just got the story, another treasury. I don't really consider these treasury plays to be plays anymore. It was kind of cool in the beginning when you had Tom the Pumper Lee give his opinion on Ethereum, and I think that actually moved Ethereum a lot. I don't think any of these are going to move the needle, especially in the coin space. But if you do get it early, I think 1 or 2 days definitely gives you the juice to these names. And APDN, there it goes, man. It halts at 511 up to 575. So please, don't sleep on any of these, but there is a halt there already earlier today. You could just see by these gaps in volume, I would think that this either, I mean, it looks like it halted right there, right off the open again. Numerous halts today on this name, but it does get as high as, what a surprise, 540. If you look at 540 again for APDN applied DNA, that's right where it should fade from. We're already back here in July, so I just want to say, like, take everything here with a grain of salt. When this thing opens up, I would love for it, because I'm assuming that there's going to be some traders that are long in our chat. I would love for this thing to continue out through, but please put some kind of an out around 630. This is not financial advice, just advice that I would consider worthy. In 630 to 640, see if you can get a piece out somewhere up into there, and yeah, go with that at that point. The tap now is $6. So you are going to get that bump. So I would put a market on open order out. Looks like it's going to maybe be a 10-minute halt, because the time right now,
yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, the time right now, as you can see, is 3:14. In lovely, as you can see right beside us there, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, right there, 3 minutes, 15 seconds, 3 hour, 15 and zeros, not that that matters. It was halted at 3:08. So normally if it's 5 minutes, obviously that would have happened already. That would be 15:13. So that's already over with. So I would say 3:18:17 or so, although that's a D print. So this is on the NASDAQ. So the last NASDAQ print is right here. So that's at 14 seconds. So 3:18:14, 3:18:14. Look for that opening there on APDN, unless of course it doesn't, and then we'll have to wait on that. So I'm going to say again, a pretty good out for us. I'm not going to do it, chase the packs. Another good out for us here on AMD at VWAP. Boom goes the dynamite, and we've been trying to mention to you that we would get out again. Oh yeah, I'm not going to bid any more 340s. Someone asked if I would bid down here if it came back in. So I'm bidding 339.50 just because I'm going to take a 50-cent hit if it breaks 339. The bottom of the day is 339.50. We've really emptied it out, man. We talked about emptying it out there. We have 4 more outs now as we start to blast down. So I consider these all, honestly. Money. Even though we're down where we are right now, put the money in your pocket, man, and watch it grow. And I mean, the fact that we're able to get out of Tesla near the highs and then it comes right back in, this is what it's about. And look, we could have taken 440 again. Remember, 440 is what we wrote down. And often I'll look back at this and be like, but I'm writing these at 8 o'clock. So the difference is that right now the day's already long in the tooth and we're getting into levels that have already been tested. So we were right about 440. We nailed the 440. It's just a matter, and again, as it was written. But right now, you know, trade's getting set up for tomorrow. I mean, this is a big break lower here as we are now at NASDAQ low of day, right? So yeah, that low of day break was just happened, Neil. So
it was Google that I think took us down.
Yeah, I mean the market's still up, so I would say that it's been a nice September run, and you know, ahead of again the next earnings season and the next wave of interest rate cuts, which are not for another 4 weeks. I can't see that much in the way of being positive. I don't know if the market thought more was coming from Trump. They didn't really get anything.
We're past the earnings, and like right, I think all of the earnings helped us get through, because I mean, ultimately, people can talk about sandbagging all they want, but I mean, ultimately, it was a good earnings season. Whether you agree with it or not, stock prices reflected it, and certainly beating expectations. I think it was like well over like 70, probably close to 80%. Yep. At least in the S&P 500. That's usually the stat that you'll hear, because people don't talk about that for the Russell. I have no idea how the Russell did during earnings season, but the S&P did fantastic. And now that you're past that, I don't know what gets us the next leg. Maybe we get a little bit of a malaise. But on that, when the low of the day broke, ETH broke the trend. So we were long at 50. It went into the 60 level, 3160. It broke the trend line pretty decently there. So that's an easy out. And that was really distinct. Like, you're just slowly grinding higher, and it was right when the market took the low. You're going to break down underneath that trend. It's not looking incredibly healthy anymore. Apple, which I thought that would look pretty good for a VWAP bounce, no strength as the market's breaking low. That continues lower and lower and lower. In the chat, I'm not going to say, but volume spike here on Open Door. Yeah, that's a pretty hefty volume spike on Open Door. And not a good looking, that's not a good candle for that volume spike, because that's actually a rejection over the volume weighted average price. Open door down 5%. There was no catalyst for open door today. Just, I mean, I hate to say it, like sort of resuming its lower high and downtrend. So it held $9, and now it's looking like it's heading right back to $8. Whatever that volume spike was, I didn't hear anything in my ear. I didn't see any news on it. I'll quickly double check. But that's a rejection candle of VWAP here. So that to me usually suggests a short, which we have free locates on this stock. So I'm gonna keep this one up, see if I can't find if there's no story, then it just goes back to usually doing what it did before, which is rejecting under VWAP.
I don't know if Adair mentioned this, but it's Applied DNA appoints the Mooch, Anthony Scaramucci, as an advisor. So Adair did not report that, but that is there. So
the coin is Binance Coin.
Yeah. Okay. Binance Coin. Okay. So
that's the treasury. Yeah.
That's the treasury. They're doing all right. So it's already up to 640 right now, 638, and not opened up at 308. 308 was the halt. So yeah,
so it should be open now.
That's why I went over to it. I thought it would be open because you could see right here the halt 308. So right now it's 320. So.
Is it for sure?
No, open right now.
Yeah, it's volatility.
Right there. So yeah, they announces that Judy Mara has voluntarily resigned from her role as president and CEO, and the Mooch is stepping in as a advisor.
Mooch.
So he's going to grab some advisory shares there. And they also have a $58 million pipe offering that involves filling the pipe with 4.7 million shares of common stock and warrants. And their cryptocurrency offering involves over 3.3 million warrants and common warrants. So both with an exercise price of $3.82 and are good for the next 5 years. So warrants are always fun to be holding on to because if the name blasts for you, then you get that upsized benefit. With only 30 minutes left until imbalances, we're just going to wait for the low of the day on Tesla. We did good to get out of it, that is for sure. On any weakness, I've already talked about it. I know you mentioned picking up some Amazon last week. I'm going to wait for Meta. So Meta would be one that I want to pick up. Honestly, I want to put my money where my mouth is. I keep saying every person that's born, Meta gets a new customer. And, you know, if this one can ever get down into 670.
Jericho.
As we shout out Chris Jericho, good one there, Neil. As we get into, shout out to AEW Wrestling, where Chris Jericho, I believe, currently is, but maybe not. $6.70.
He's still going.
Yeah, those guys are still going. So is Badass Billy Gunn, and all these guys are still a big part of it. My brother was at. There was an AEW event here in Toronto last weekend. I couldn't go because
I had no idea he was still.
Yeah, it's great. It's great entertainment. All right, 670 to 680. Anyways, I think this is a good spot for Meta. I want to buy it before the 200 period moving average. You know, I got bigger problems to think about if Meta does come all the way down. And then I was also thinking, and I got lazy this week, well, not this weekend, but every weekend, about doing some research because FCX, I do like the copper play. I mean, my car is down. Darn it. Oh. This was a mine problem, obviously, not mine. I mean, it is my problem because I didn't get in, but one of their mines had an accident there last week, and Freeport came all the way back in, and I wanted to figure out the complexity of that issue, and because, again, I really like copper. I mean, this is what FCX is doing. This is what Dr. Copper is doing. Of course, this is the Copper Mines ETF. You're going to see a completely different look than what FCX is doing, right? Look at what the heck copper's on right now. Forget about silver, forget about gold, although silver and gold, COPX is absolutely moonshotting. This name from the April lows was $31. It's a double on copper since April. Let me check out what gold is doing since April. And not to compare the two, obviously one's a little more speculative than the other. Gold is 275 to 350, so obviously nowhere near the return that copper's had, but gold has just been so much appreciated over this last month. I don't, to me again, not to tell people what to do because I'm only here for my trades, man, not for anything that I can actually say. This is, I think this 305 area up to 352. That move in 1 month, and I'm glad that Neil hit the register there, I would be thinking about taking something off just because of that kind of a move. It's less than 1% in my portfolio, so I feel that if it was proper allocation, 3 to 5%, then I would probably be nipping this out a little bit. It's kind of like the next time Bitcoin does get to 125, I will be taking some off. Next time Solana gets to 250, I will be taking some off. I just think that there is some prudency to all of that, especially in the metals game.
Also keep in mind how much of, like, you're talking about there also being the government shutdown. And typically speaking, when we get all scared about the government shutdown, it ends up either not happening or not being very long. And to any extent that like the latest pushes have been related to that, like you have potentiality of, hey, no shutdown, crisis averted, and then all of a sudden gold could stabilize there. But the other side of that coin is from a long-term standpoint, when they keep allowing to borrow more, in a long run, I think gold does absolutely fine. Because, and this is the other reason we like Bitcoin as well. You know, if you just continue to allow more printing of money forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, then things like gold are forever.
But I mean, is it forever? Be relevant. I don't know if it's forever ever.
Well, I think I'm pretty sure I've told the story before. I had a professor at university, an economics professor, and we were talking about like debt. Like money creation essentially being debt creation is money creation. And when I asked him what would happen if every single government overnight balanced their budgets, and he said, well, we would have a pretty ridiculous recession. It would be really bad.
Okay.
Because of the contraction of the money supply. First of all, it couldn't happen, but it would be disastrous if it did happen. And that's worth thinking about for a second. That's why gold sometimes has a place. With only about 25 minutes to the imbalances. Also, I'll get a look at the early look here for everybody here. You should do that around this time. CVE 5 million. Okay, that's kind of random. QSR 1.1 million. That could be worth watching. NEO 1 million to the buy side. These are all buys. CNQs there. I'd say QSR worth a look. CVE, that's kind of interesting. 5 million on CVE. Is Synovus, is it moving? It's actually going down on that buy imbalance. So worth watching. Anytime there's a big buy imbalance and a stock might be playing off for the low, you might be provided with an opportunity to buy it off the low for a quick little 350 bounce. 350 being the time that the imbalance is displayed publicly. So Apple finally got back into VWAP here. Just grabbed it when it hit the volume weighted average price and closed above VWAP, opened the next candle of the volume weighted average price, just stuck some bids in, got 2 of the 3, and looking for this to bounce. But if we get to the high before the imbalance is hit, I'd want to take this one out for sure. Like very range bound day for Apple. Didn't break the low like Google did. And Google, I'm going to make a guess that it's bouncing. No, it's not. Not at all. And I saw the market go back. The NASDAQ got back above the lows, and Google just still holding the low of the day. And that's weak. Incredibly weak.
0.27, that's such a big run.
MSense, what about PCE, which Adara had news on earlier? Is it an overnight hold? PCE? You mean PG&E? Well, I'm not aware of the news on that name. So
PGE, right?
PGE, I think you mean, right?
PGE, there was something there with them. It was like they were raising some of their rates, I guess, heading into 2030. They do kind of gas type plays, so it was just more, I guess, their projections going forward, they had increased or something.
Okay. Yeah, like it's not something we had looked at. Citron short on Rigetti. Oh boy. Well, they almost shouldn't have short reports. Like this, when the valuation is so obscene, like what's the short report gonna say? Like
it's the same shit they said at Palantir.
Yeah, but there's a very distinct difference between the valuation of Palantir, which is making $1 billion in revenue, and Rigetti, which is making a few $1 million in revenue and has $1 billion market cap. Those are not the same thing.
Well, I don't know.
Like the quantum valuations are on a different level of nonsensical. So coming out with a short report, it's kind of pointless. Like I could tell you that whatever city you're from in the States, if you have a baseball team, your highest paid player probably has greater revenue on a single season than Rigetti has next quarter. And this is $1 billion market cap. So Citron saying that these guys are short, it's like,
But
well,
it's like Vladdy, you pay for the
we
performance
talking
in the
about
future,
here?
not the current performance, right? So I think that that's the whole
but
thing.
this is a different story.
I-
Well, it actually is down 8%, but yeah, lo and behold, of course, it's already off the highs we're getting.
Yeah, we're getting stock, Ken Griffin, Tudor Jones. I was trying to see if there what the exact story was there. I read
it in the chat. I don't know.
Who said there was a short report?
I read it.
You read it in the chat.
I read it in the chat, and there was a corresponding volume spike to the downside.
Okay, so I don't know if that is accurate or not. If Rigetti, if they do have it, because that would, I mean, to your point, I think it makes sense, right? Like, why would they put something out if it doesn't really have any money? So, but anyways, we'll wait on that one. But thanks for reporting it, guys, in the chat.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, it's a lot of rumors that are being spread around on X. No one can give any confirmation that Citron is short Rigetti, but people keep circulating that Citron is short Rigetti. Now, what this sometimes means is we know sometimes Andrew Left of Citron Research will go on news programs and talk about his short positions. That's how we introduced the PLTR short. That could be what's happening here, but if I get details, I'll let you know.
Yeah, thanks, Adair.
All right.
My own point is like, what's the point? I get it. It's usually.
I mean, these guys it's clickbait stuff, right? I mean, this guy needs to get people to follow him and all.
Or, look, maybe someone has shorted at the top and is just looking, because look, it has made, like, look at the move. Like, when this doubled from like $16 here, it was all green. It didn't have a red day in it until last week. So when you move like that, like, somebody shorted it on the first red day, because that's how some people roll, or I should say hedge funds. That's how they will roll. And then look at the consolidation. So certainly it makes sense to me that someone put on a short in this, a big one that held it up last week, and then maybe that's the reason why it goes. David, you've got your silly trades of the day. Thank you for the super chat there, David. Added more to KTOS, MindMed, USAR, SLVP is Rigetti revenue from merch. Well, I don't know. Actually, I genuinely don't know what it is that they even sell at this point, Rigetti. I just remember that they actually did have a revenue. They just signed a deal. It was a 3-year, $15 million deal. I forget exactly whom it was with. That was just a couple of weeks ago in Rigetti, but I'm not sure exactly what it is that they're selling, but I don't own the stock, so it doesn't really matter to me. So KTOS, MindMed, MNMD. I know someone that likes that name. The NOS boss, I believe, likes a little MindMed. 12% for MindMed. It's kind of random.
Yeah, breaking out.
And it legit breaking out on the daily. Look at that. Breaking $10. You got one. Look at the hold of the 50-period moving average. Sometimes when the accumulation happens on a stock, it's a signal of something. I bet you this still has a pretty decent short flow, which might help you on that move. MMND. Oops. MNMD. Of course there is an MMND. MNMD. Neil, Mind Medicine. I wanted to find it on the wrong one. I was looking at the news instead of the actual details. That's probably still a decent short flow. So MNMD, take a second. Only 11%. Only 11% short flow, but very close to some local highs after breaking out $10, $11 here. I know at some point I lost on this stock. I don't remember when and how much, but it was a long time ago. So I'd have to go back and double check. I know I own shares of this and lost money on it. I just don't remember. Was it COVID?
I can tell you. I'll tell you how much I'm down.
It was 2020, something like that. I just wanted to find it on. I wanted to find it.
We had the IPO day for MindMed.
Exactly.
We had MindMed IPO on our show.
I can look it on my e-signal.
Sure, yeah, do that. I'll tell you guys.
Because it's NASDAQ.
I'm going to say probably down 95%.
It's usually that much.
Is how much I'm down on MindMed, but I will double check for you. Up, I mean, I just looked today, up 78% on Intel.
750.
What
Can't
day?
be right. It was right here. It looks like the 2nd of March,
Probably
2020. And then all the way back.
All the way
down
back.
to the upside. So obviously, a little bit of shenanigans in between. Clearly.
I'll tell you about some shenanigans. Oh no, I might have sold it. Okay, so it's definitely not in my TFSA unless it's in the U.S. side. Oh, that's probably where I bought it because, oh no, I would have bought it in the, oh yeah, there it is. I have it in the United States. Yeah, down 77% I am on MindMed. Right there, so yeah. There it is, man. 99% on ACB. Down 99% on TLRY and ACB and all of those names as well. But as we just said, up 70. I like that USAR call, up 74% on Intel. We only bought that a while ago, so making it back a little bit with that name. So we feel good about our position. So holler at anybody that we talk about this all the time, that are traders and that have hits on some positions, and you just got to realize them. And the number one thing, it's just like day trading, man. Just be honest with yourself. And if you made a bad trade, cover it and get out, and don't hold something down 77%. That's when I was a little less disciplined, because the money was just insane back in the day when your boy was trading crypto, especially even on this platform. Crazy. All right, so just here, USAR. I like the USAR rare earth metal play. We had Steve Teilman on from Trade the News on Friday. He was talking about this play as well, and I actually told him, like, this is actually a weird one. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So this one may be on the way down, but that's where we use technical analysis to our advantage and at least just draw some fancy lines. This is the 50-period moving average that is held for USAR. So in the rare earth metal play, we saw LAC get, I mean, it didn't get taken private, but I mean, it acted like it did. When it went up to $7 there, I think it was a 10% or so stake taken again by the U.S. government all the way to the upside. They had extension on that play, just like MP Metals, or it's MP Materials, isn't it actually? Is it Materials?
Yeah, MP Materials.
Yeah, Materials, yeah. So there that goes upside, right? And now you're starting to fade back in that one. So the next name that they may decide to take a piece in, of course, would be that USAR, is that what it was?
UCAR.
I don't know, whatever, I just had it up. UCAR, I don't know what it was.
Is it USAR or UCR?
I don't know, go USA.
We were literally just looking.
Yeah, I know, USCR?
No, it's USAR.
USAR, yeah. Yeah, USAR. Okay. But anyways, there's MP, and here's that extension move from them and a little bit higher. So I don't know which one's going to be the right play, but we do know that taking stakes in companies, especially recently, has worked out, including Intel. Had that big move upside there when it was just $5 billion announced from. It's funny because Nvidia gives $100 billion to OpenAI, $5 billion to Intel, and that's really worked out for them lately. And of course, we saw that GM got lifelines. I feel like that's more like what Intel got from the government a little bit there. And then there was another name other than LAC. There was Intel. There was another one that the government put some money into. Yeah, USSR. Yeah, that's a funny one. I don't know if there's anything going to ever get resolved over there. We did see oil today was making the move higher, I thought. That would be the October contract. Should be in play right now. V? No, it doesn't look like V is working out. Was it the September contract? Anyways, I'm called up the wrong contract. Let me just check out what's going on XLE then. Yeah, maybe it's still on the September. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. I called up the November, but that's not right. I don't know what the October one is. But there's XLE. So sorry, it was down.
It's X.
Yeah, XLE was down 2% today. So oil not having a great day. I saw gas at 118 or something. In my neighborhood on the other day at a Shell gas station, 118 per liter. So that's, let me just do the math here. There's 3.7 liters in a gallon. So $1, this is cheap though, 118 times 3.7
that's pretty good.
Times $1.38. So right now we're about $6 a gallon here for gas. So you tell me what it is in your neighborhood. We're $6.
I bet you better than that.
A gallon right now in Ontario. And we're supposed to be oil producing nation. So thanks government for taxing the shit out of us, especially in the oil space. Yeah, but I got an electric car now.
But at least our economy is doing fantastically.
Yes, it's doing absolutely
and youth
fantastic.
Unemployment isn't running rampant, and overall unemployment is at 7%.
Half the price in Ohio? Man,
and we have 7% unemployment here. 7.
Is that right? How many liters in a gallon? Are we paying that much more?
Your calculation was cool.
Yeah, it's 3.7.
It's 3.7.
So 118 times 3.7 times 1.38. We're paying $6 a gallon here.
No, we get jacked. We get jacked in a lot of things, though. Not just keeping it real.
No, we do.
There's no
Canada's a disaster.
No, there's no free lunch, right? At the end of the day, so we have a lot of services that have to get paid for, and as our
services are in the drain
and they're not going well either. Although I will say this, and for everyone that craps on the healthcare system, I think I got redonkulously lucky with. Everyone talks about MRI rates, I should say. I didn't experience that.
Yeah, but in the States, it'd be 1 day.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's
Right.
It's
So,
super,
I mean,
it's super fast.
We still lose.
No,
and everything.
But people talk about, like, oh, you couldn't get an MRI for like a year. And I'm
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
those
what?
Are...
Like a year? I got one in like a couple.
Dude, my
of
mom's
weeks.
getting hip replacement surgery in about 1 month. Like, didn't even have to wait, really.
Like, it's not, some of the horror stories, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's still not as good as you can get it anytime you want.
$6 Canadian. Yeah, it's $6 Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian
dollars.
So
Canadian dollars, yeah.
I told you guys, I did the math. So it's 118 times 3.7. So that would be, so really per gallon in US dollars, no, because I'd have to go up. No, I think my math is right. I'm using Canadian money to give you guys the $6. Right? So if that was then, what math did I do wrong? $1.18 Canadian times 3.7 gives us $4 Canadian a gallon.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so $4 Canadian a gallon. Then I upped it, so it is $6. So it's, no, that'll be the other way around. So it's only, then I added it, I multiplied it to get US dollars.
Oh, you need,
so it's the other way around. I got divide by
like
0.7,
2
or so.
2.3 maybe.
It's 560, I think, or so, maybe a gallon. I don't know. I'll redo the math.
Just very quickly here.
Good call.
Looks like Apple running into some resistance at that 254.5. Actually, we got some really good Royal Gala apples this weekend.
Royal Gala. Okay, yeah, I like those ones. Yeah. They're the hard. Are they harder? I like the hard apples.
They should. Well, not all. I mean, a lot of times they are. I tend. When it's a bad one, it's not hard. That's the way I look at it.
Golden Delicious is the only one that my kids will eat. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them.
What's wrong with Golden Delicious?
Nothing. I love Golden Delicious, but it's like literally like only like there's like, oh, if it's not Golden Delicious. I played that Golden song at our that's the K-pop song at hockey. Big hit.
Well, the kids really love that song.
Some kids were dancing on the ice, and other ones were looking at me like I was on crack cocaine. And then I followed it up.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Then I followed it up with soda pop, and then they scored.
So now you got to always play soda pop.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It is that simple. APDN, everybody, looks like it finally opened.
Ooh.
What's up with the halt length here? So it did open, all right, it opened higher and then halted, then opened again and halted down. So your newest crypto treasury play, this is a Binance treasury play. One halt up, one halt down, and still up 33%. So yeah, like this open here was a 650. It looks like it opened at 650, tested the high, and then came right back on. So tested breaking out the top, and then came right back into the downside. As I mentioned, Apple kind of ran into a bit of resistance here at the $0.50, with only 9 minutes to go till the imbalances come in. Fair enough. Giorgino. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble saying that name. You started shorting EA since this morning, and you started shorting Riot 10 minutes ago. Well, one of those things has been trending down all day, and the other one's Riot. Riot's been blasting all day long.
Yeah, crypto.
Oh, it couldn't break that $20 level.
Crypto.
Yeah, I guess if you shorted the $20 level here on Riot, that would make some sense. For anyone, if you were here this morning, I gave the entire rationale to why I thought that EA was a short all day long. It simply had to do with when the press release stated the deal is expected to be closed is not till the beginning of 2027. The risk-free rate, by any calculation, I don't care when you put it in early 2027 or what interest rate you use, as long as it's reasonable, a reasonable rate, you get about $199 to $200 for the fair value, and it didn't even fall that far. Like, it actually didn't fall that far. I have a trailing stop on it right now. I was just shorting under VWAP, and you couldn't get VWAP very many times. So it might do the same thing tomorrow, but we'll see. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
MTA dropping here. I'm seeing a report suggesting that OpenAI is launching a social app. It apparently appears pretty similar to TikTok. It's powered by Sora 2. So META looks like OpenAI could be stepping into their stepping into their space a little bit, reportedly launching a social app. Back to you.
OpenAI social app.
I'll just buy more Meta. So I'm not, like I said, I mean, it's already a big part of the portfolio here. I'm not. Honestly, there's always going to be different social medias that are coming out, right? Like, so the thread on Instagram was TikTok. Okay, TikTok's been around for 5 years, 10 years, maybe more. I should ask Sharif. I don't know. A decade? I don't know. Meta's only been doing this. Has TikTok existed in 2023? Did TikTok exist in 2022?
But they got passed by Google.
Yeah,
YouTube
exactly.
Shorts.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So then, that was my next example. Was like, so the next competition to TikTok would be potentially YouTube Shorts or YouTube in general or whatever. This is what the competition looks like for that. Now, I'm just kind of showing you. I don't think that a story doesn't mean that it's a negative well-being for them. I think it's bad. Like I said, the next shoe to drop is going to be something that maybe none of us can really even think of. And, for Meta, maybe it is a brand new app that comes from OpenAI that destroys, their current business model, and that's fine. Mark Zuckerberg will just buy something or improve his app and get it figured out and implement it in there. I mean, these guys have so much cash that I think that stories like this are just really, honestly, just buying opportunities. But I wouldn't buy this now anyways. I've already did the work. I showed you. I think that coming back into the 200 period is probably a little worth it, although their PE, and I'm looking, there's a reason why we were loving Alibaba lower when its PE was much more reasonable than where it is right now, right? Meta, I think, still has a 27 or 28 PE, which is fine. I still think it doesn't fit the growth stock because the way their earnings, they don't grow in the same way that you'd like to see a growth stock move, but whatever is what I say to that. This is still, in my opinion, can do whatever it wants to do. And there it is right here, their PE 26, 25. So I think that that's still a reasonable PE here, but I'd like to see it just get a little bit lower than where we are right now in order to buy that name. And then even Google's PE still same kind of level, 26, 27. The best PE in the business, and it's just, I have to see what Tencent is doing. You heard this from me a couple weeks ago when I was telling you I want to buy Tencent and Alibaba. Since then, Alibaba, I should have just punched the key at 156. I waited for 152. Tencent's forward P is only 19. So I really like that. And again, that was at $80. I should have bought this one. And then Alibaba, I'm still long it. We can check. It's probably a decent size position too. I know the size of it's not as big as it should be, but this PE right now is only 23 and 19. Forward 23, current 19. So imagine what this PE was on Alibaba when it was, $80. You could do the math and figure it out, but that's Meta. Here goes Alibaba looking at the chart, just straight fire over the last little while. Like its PE, it hasn't reported since. It was down here at 120, man, a month ago. That's when the PE was like 17 or 18. Now you're blasting up there. Still very, very reasonable to buy Alibaba.
It's still cheap,
way cheaper
relative to the North American mega caps. And on top of that, you get cloud growth with Alibaba that's resembling like the top end, which is Google and Azure, and it has better growth than Amazon in cloud revenues, which is pretty darn good. Last I checked. But I wouldn't be too concerned. The historical PE of Meta, it's not that bad. It's actually more stable than you think in the 20s. At least the last few years, Meta has been under 30 and holding on to 22. So 27 is not actually egregious. It's kind of middle of the range for the last few years here on Meta. I was surprised by that. Actually, it's been very stable in the 20s here.
Yeah, it's good.
Really, really stable. I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised by that. Here's go to 5 year, you can see this a little bit better. It is near the top end. So when it gets in the low 20s, it's generally been pretty good because the last bump up, it consolidated and it hit the low 20s, and that's when you got the big bounce. Sometimes historical PE matters, sometimes it doesn't, but I think it's a good opportunity in Meta. Don't tell me that I'm not scared of this. And when I looked at the story, it said specifically for AI-generated content, this OpenAI platform. So I don't know how much that would really even eat in to Instagram, but if it's only AI-generated content specifically, it would seem to me like a lot of what is done on Instagram is not that. Of course there is, but if it's exclusively AI, not worried at all.
I don't think it's going to be an AI
about
app.
that.
I think just one developed by OpenAI.
Well,
probably have some cool being able to make pictures, and you could do a lot of that already with Instagram,
you can do tons
all
of
those filters and whatnot. Just Tesla. Again, same trade, man. We've been talking about it the whole time. We talked about trying to get some more down here. We didn't want to get 440s. We wanted to get the low of the day, but there it is, man. You are now extension plus over $2 now in the money on this name, as we'll take some more out. So there it is. We get another out there at 25. We got another out at the 200 period moving average. So Tesla's really been working, and I hope that you guys bought that dip there. We were already in it. It was your chance to sort of join the trade. So as that continues to go upside right now is Tesla. AMD, props up for anybody that sort of followed that logic, getting out there at the VWAP when they all sort of combined there. The 200 period VWAP and everything sort of just made a nice little home. So we were like, whoopsies, we will get out of that one and watch it go into the downside. The market on closing balances just heard a minute, well, it didn't, but I hear that it's only a minute left. And so right there, we'll figure this out. They're all going to come. These are all New York names. Oh, CCL was an earnings report today that was apparently a
big
double miss. So, oh no, it was a double beat.
No, double beat, and it still went down.
Yeah, so still double beat there. But remember, earnings, just so everybody's aware, it doesn't really matter what you did current quarter. It matters what you're looking forward at. And Oracle was a good example of that. And now you're seeing Oracle come right back to life. They missed on their earnings report. So why did it shoot up 40% that day? Well, because they announced OpenAI as a buyer, and then you got the TikTok news as well of their platform. And you know, now it looks like it wants to get right back into a more reasonable level. This is definitely a buy at 260. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Now those imbalances are now out. So let's have a quick look to see if there's anything. There's Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia's trying to go ham right there, probably back there to the upside. Apple's a nice little buy side up to 255. We like that. 4 billion as a buy. Intel says I'm buying, but no one else is. Amazon's a buy. We really like that one, man. Amazon's been a good one. There's Google, had a downside play, but also a buy. What is my guy doing right here? Tesla. I have no idea, but Tesla right now is, let's go, man. It's a hot dog kind of day for that play, as there goes Tesla now $3 in the money and going higher. So congratulations to everybody, man. Even Snapchat off of that 760. I still hope this comes back into 760. I think I will take a stab if that can come back in, but it's Apple, Nvidia, and NEOG right here. Obviously, if you're not trading NEOG, then I have no idea what you're doing. But that one right there, not doing anything on this imbalance either. Lyft had a nice move up to some of those highs on the daily chart. I think it's been pulling back. No, not really. 24, that could be a breaking spot there too for LYFT, Lyft.
Still won't take lifts. It's been a long time. But Nike, I don't know if you mentioned, Nike was 1.6. They report after the bell tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Lululemon having a nice day.
There's still some earnings to get through, and that's definitely one of them. And Nike didn't really, I mean, it's like 1.6 million is pretty solid, but it barely moved on that. Like if Nike was going to go, that's really good volume. Like 1.6 million into 12 is actually a decent chunk. Like you're looking at 13%. You'd think it would move a little bit more than that. Probably going to pair off would be my guess. But already starting to pair off some of those imbalances. Nvidia was 4, now 3.6. Apple, worth looking at. That NEOG, I don't know what's going on with it, but look, 4 million imbalance and it's only done 6 million on the day. If it's still there at 355, it might be worth a punch. My guess is it'll probably pair off. You don't usually see a stock that's barcoding 5 cents get a massive imbalance and not move at all. So either it pairs off and there's a complete nothing burger, we don't have to worry about it, or that sticks around at 355 and might be worth like a little bit of a scalp breakout trade. So I'd keep it up on the radar just for that. I'm just gonna, there is a buyer or refresher at 202. So I'm literally going to punch out of this stock because it is not, and this was here on EA at 202 at 151, and then there's still here, someone is literally holding the bid, showing a couple hundred shares, and has been holding the bid forever on EA. So I'm jumping out of that one. And Vaughn Clark, we will get to your super chat right now. Swinging Ford. Randy would love to hear that. But NUAI looks decent. So I know what you're doing in Ford. It's as simple as this. Ford is closing above $12. Ford is closing above $12 for the first time since whatever this day is, July 24th of 2024. So July of last year was the last time Ford closed over $12. It's doing so again today. So Ford, it's on a bit of a run. Not up much today, but good day on Friday for that. But NUAI looks decent. Don't know the stock. Get that one out of the way. I have no idea. What is NUAI? I'm just going to look it up.
NUAI, I don't know that
NUAI.
Broadcom.
New Era Energy and Digital. Okay, what's the story here? 6% short float, not bad. Not really seeing any news. News September. Okay, so small cap energy name. When I look at this daily chart, I can't, it's like 30 cents to 240. Congratulations on the guts. This looks good for a swing to me. It was already gone parabolic. I'm the complete opposite on a penny stock. And to the extent that I've ever swung a penny stock, it's breaking out here, then you get the dollar break. I've already trimmed some at 2, and then let it ride, because if you get the double up, then you can let the profits ride, and then you can't lose on the trade at all. But to buy it on the parabolic is a totally different ballgame. I don't know anything about the name. I can just tell yeah, good luck. I don't know how. It looks good today, but you just had the stock go up 8x in 1 week. I'm more of a ring the register when a stock does that, when a penny stock does that, as opposed to the other way around.
We're taking 250 right now on Tesla, and I will, Jacques, get to your question about reloading it at my initial level. But Trade the Pool beat Ackman. Okay, live trading competition is now here. October 8th to the 10th. Every day, Ackman makes his move. Your mission. He does make a move every day? Okay. Your mission, outperform him, beat his return, prove what you've got, indeed what it takes. And oh boy, as Tesla right now is mooning right here, but here we go. The grand finale is on October the 13th, broadcast live on Trader TV. So that's great. With Trade the Pool team live in the studio, they'll tell you who wins. Probably Mitch will make probably $750,000. So get ready for this one. Over $600,000 in prizes are up for grabs. Both $25,000, $50,000, and even $100K evaluation accounts. Plus surprise giveaways during the live show. Wow, this is gonna be a lot of fun here on that day. So join us on October 13th. Scan the QR code to be part of it right there. But hey man, you only need one kind of trade right here today. Look at that Tesla off that bottom. But I do want to answer your question. And you had just said right here, following my previous Tesla question about how you got stopped out. Okay. How does it make sense for you to jump back in the long at your current price? So I was just wondering, do you mean when I was currently stopped, right there? Because the only time I got stopped out was right here at 9.50. So I got stopped out right there, and then again at right there at 4.42. But then what I did was I just did a deeper dive, right? And we had it posted here on the sticky note, and I don't know if you have access to this or not, my guy, but you could just go look right here. We said 4.40. We'll wait for the level break, right? So we did take the long. I thought Tesla was a long early, so I was buying this falling knife all the way down in. And then finally, once it made 4.40, and we just... I hate saying this joke, but it's like an old one from someone in my family. He used to say a blind guy could see this. But right into there, 440 was the closing level. So that's where, I kind of liked it. And we hit it, and the rest is history. So we hit it again, and we would have put it on another one, but I was waiting.
Another one.
For these lows, 439.50 to fill, and then I was going to give it 50 cents. So yeah, man, big trade alert there on Tesla. We hit it to the VWAP a couple times. Either way, man, $3.40 now in the money, and I'm almost out. So I think I'm just going to get out right now on Tesla. We can't hold overnight. We'll end that trade off right there, and wait to see if we can do even more damage on this stock here tomorrow. But we were red on this stock early on Tesla and trying to make it back. So good levels there to get in and take it back up to the upside. So that's just following your rules. So rule-based trading is pretty much all that I try to do. So.
Before I get up to the desk, there's only 2 minutes to go here. I just want to, I'm surprised by this, but Wolf actually reopened, everybody.
Oh, wow.
So if you missed the story, they're getting delisted, I believe, October 10th, and there's a new company being formed. Current shareholders are getting 3 to 5% of the new Wolf.
Yeah, bad.
Which is not a lot. So congratulations. It's going up anyways, but it's kind of crazy. They are getting delisted, but creditors are getting the bulk of the new entity. So they're restructuring some debt, significantly, and shareholders will get 3 to 5%. That's what the press release says. Should open up at 4 o'clock, but I'm going to get up to the desk. Have a good one there.
Yeah, we will.
Monday Night Football doesn't really matter to anybody.
It's double games.
It's 2 games, but I mean, kind of suck, so I'm not.
Yeah,
it's the Jets in Miami. Who cares about that?
Well, of course they suck. Those are both teams that are in your division, man. That's the reason part of the Bills.
We want Denver to win for.
Yeah, we want as many upsets as possible at the end of the day. There for our survivor pool. Okay, man. Yeah, thank you, everybody. We didn't get to this. This was for Neil, but what does that big ass volume and red candle mean on MP stock in the 3 to 5 minute chart? So I'll have a quick look at it and just to tell you guys what's up with that. So what's up, Kelvington? Oh no, there it is. Okay, for MP. Okay, so let me see if we can find that chart for you. We're out of everything. We're flat on everything. We were looking to take some Marvell. Oh, right here at 3:30. I don't know. Sometimes there's just a news dump or something. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm gonna. Hey-oh. Yeah, I apologize for that. I don't know. That to me, it's not at an area of concern. So that could have just been, again, somebody dumping a whole bunch of shares. You could wind up that there was an insider sale that came through. There could have been a level on the level 2 here that just kept on following it all the way up and then eventually got hit. I'm not sure. It looks like there was a buyer that got taken out, right? Oops, that's a roll call, wrong one. Here we go, with only less than 10 seconds left. Make sure you do scan that QR code. I was actually looking at some VinFast cars around here. It looks pretty nice to me. For Ticker TVFS, make sure you check it out. And thank you to them for sponsoring. The market is now closed. Not too many earnings to hit tonight. We do have Lululemon. Well, Lululemon was up today. We do have Nike later on this week to come through as well. So I'll be on tomorrow with Adara and do all of that. Thank you so much for joining us again here today. It's been a great show. I'm going to sneeze one more time. I'm going to turn off my mic. Oh, got the mic turned off. Thank you so much for watching. I'm back tomorrow with hopefully less sneezes at around 8:30. I'll see you then. Go double check all the sticky notes, and I'll see if I can get that guy back live. Talk to you guys in a bit. It's Sean. It's the main show over. Recap show on now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much on your market recap show brought to you by Beta Pro by GlobeX does start now. And what a day it was. We had $100 billion deals. We had shutdown, government shutdown risk, which is something we'll be talking about all week long. And then you had cannabis names going higher. What are you going to do? Like that pun sort of speaks for itself. So big one. And of course, later on this week, we're going to get Nike. We talked a little bit about that. But, the big story, of course, for the market, with the potential government shutdown, leads things off. But don't sleep on those cannabis moves after President Trump, with a simple post of a video, and all of a sudden you get 60% up on TLRY.
Yeah, that was really all it took. He just posted one video. It was like 3 minutes long. It was really odd. And again, you can check out, I have a whole rundown on this on X at TTV Research. Basically, he posted this video, but then, Neil, at one point, these names gave back some of the move on Monday afternoon.
Yes.
Now, why? Because the Marijuana Herald reported that the DOJ is requesting an extension. They're going to delay that rescheduling case until January 2026, if the report is to be believed. So, pretty interesting stuff there. Let's get started. They're talking about all of these stories for the day. Now, as you mentioned, Neil, the shutdown risk is a big concern, and it's also a big issue because we do have, of course, the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, saying, hey guys, if the government is shut down, then as protocol, we are not going to be releasing our data, including those NFP prints we're expecting on Friday.
And that's a big data point for the Fed, obviously, to see if they're going to cut. The other thing that to consider here is you did have the president mention that if there was a government shutdown, he threw out the idea of possibly firing government workers instead of furloughing them, which is what happened last time. Now, obviously, that could cause a little bit more turmoil. I'm sure it's just a negotiating tactic. Actually, something I want to talk about with Michael Knott, because when you bring him on, he actually has some thoughts about what traders should do around a potential government shutdown. I think that's a big deal to have some trading ideas out there, because it might not be what you think, everybody, that, hey, the government shuts down, you got to think about it going short and it just being an automatic sell. The market, relatively flat today. I think to say that we were up 0.5% suggests that nothing that happened over the weekend is really shocking us too much. I think you'd see a bigger down move based on those comments if people really took it seriously, that there'd be all of those government employees let off. I think there'd be a bigger move down, so it could have just been some kind of a negotiating tactic.
Yeah, just worth noting, I was just hearing in my ear, apparently the congressional meeting with these leaders and Trump has now begun. Google also announcing their Claude Sonnet 4.5 on Vertex AI, so keep an eye on Google with that in mind. But Nike is going to be on watch here. It's flight or fight for Nike. We'll have to see how those earnings come out tomorrow. They had a really rough quarter last quarter. I can actually pull this up to show it for you guys, but it was not a good look. And their guidance, I mean, regardless of what we're expecting here, the fact that we had negative 10% year over year for their fiscal 2025 sales. That was for the year. Their Converse sales dropped almost 20% last year. Last quarter, revenue down 12%. Gross margin down 440 basis points year over year. So there's not a lot of excitement heading into this report, Neil, but there's a lot to talk about today still, even before we get into that report.
No, there's a lot to get to, and if we can throw that back up there, I just want to see that graphic again because, you know, we talk about that fight or flight. Well, Lulu's trying to get a little bit of a flight. Maybe Nike can find a bottom like it did. But there was nothing bigger than, just a percentage move, I should say. There was nothing bigger than this cannabis story. CBD for seniors, the president coming out with a story and saying it could be a game changer. And you had MSOS, which is a cannabis ETF, up 30% today. And if you look, and I think anyone that looks at these names understands, there has been a big time, for a long time, there's been a big bleed in the cannabis names. Obviously, rescheduling has been the big foreseen catalyst, and we still are waiting for across the board what the federal government's going to do there. But you're catching some kind of a wind here. 60% on Tilray. Grow generation also to the upside. And these are all pretty decently heavily shorted names. So I think this is the kind of play that might have some legs on it to see a Republican president say this is a little bit of a change, right? I think nobody would be surprised if it was coming from the other side of the aisle. And to be honest, let's be real. Like, these were a bunch of names that took it on the chin when the election didn't go in another direction. So good look here for MSOS. Maybe we can see some continuation as not bad. No one's going to complain about 30%, but we've seen the cannabis stocks go before, and then all the profits get lit up in smoke weeks later.
Yeah, that's a good one there, Neil. Oil on watch. Hopefully that doesn't light up in smoke. That would be good for nobody. I mean, Oxy had its own slight catalyst there, but I think the bigger thing we have to talk about with regards to oil is just the weakness in this group. If you saw the sector board this morning, they were the only notably red sector. Why is that? Because some of this production is going to be a bit of a concern there for oil. You basically, with these oil names, you certainly don't want to see a widespread drop like this. If you're trading these names, it's certainly not a good look. Oil supply loosening is always going to be a concern, so that is, in essence, what sent this to the downside. We do have Progress Software earnings, PRGS. They did beat on EPS, they beat on sales. I dropped the numbers in the chat. I'll drop the guidance here in the chat as well. But they did raise their fiscal 2025 EPS and sales guidance. Looks like both of those are beating estimates. Their Q4 guidance, let me see if I can look at this really quickly. Q4 guide, GAAP EPS is a bit of a miss, and their sales guide is a bit of the lower end of their sales guide is a miss. So mixed sales guide, actually a miss there for their Q4 GAAP EPS, but they did raise some of their fiscal year guides.
Yeah, which is very, very that's not bad. Raising guidance is always going to be good, but this is actually dangerous in the chat. This is going to tie into something we want to talk about next, which is Lockheed. I see, is there any ticker you wouldn't touch due to moral reasons? Now, obviously, you would have seen in that graphic Lockheed Martin catching a deal, and certainly we've seen in a general sense, not an AMEX stock, we've seen in a general sense military spending start to ramp up. Certainly a lot of other NATO names like Germany stepping up their spending. And I've always said this, as long as money gets printed, then a certain amount of the global budgets are going to go into defense spending. This is not a name that I've ever personally said I can't invest in it. The only lines I've ever drawn is the tobacco industry in a personal level. I no longer really feel like I want to hold UNH long term, but that's just a personal thing. I think if you're just you have to ask yourself a question. Like, are you care about making money, or do you want to take a stand? And I respect either way, but for myself, defense names I have no trouble being in personally, and I think Lockheed definitely looking very good here. It rejected $500 today, but ultimately it's been on a really, really nice upward churn, and things have been going well for them. More good news today, and it ended up a couple of points. I understand and respect anybody that's like, yeah, I could never invest in them long term, but military spending is not going down in the long run. That chart's like a hockey stick.
And with LMT too, you do have the fact that this one has been rumored on and off as a potential beneficiary of the Trump administration's investments. Now that's not been confirmed, but it has been discussed. We have MTN earnings as well here. Vail Resorts double miss, larger than expected loss per share, and lower than expected sales. Let's talk about our last story today, Total Energy. So this is actually a European company, as far as I can tell. I looked into this. They're listed in Europe, but they did sell their solar stake for $950 million. So it looks like they're not valuing their solar sector too heavily for themselves as of right now. Lots of solar stocks to look at. I think these are really hot heading into the great big beautiful bill situation. FSLR, ENPH, RUN. We haven't looked at them as much lately, Neil. I feel like TAN has been a little bit out of the sun as of late.
Ooh, I love the pun. You're 100% right about that. And certainly a name that we heard this morning and we're going to hear about again is our good friend, the NOS boss. But specifically because we have to talk about the shutdown in the U.S., potential shutdown in the U.S. government. So if we are ready for Michael, I'd like to bring him in and jump right into a discussion on what a lot of people that are following the market are concerned about right now, which is the potential government shutdown. You're talking about that midnight Tuesday clock is running out. Most of the time we get extensions. Are we going to here is a really big question. So let's bring him in if we can and jump to our good friend Michael Noss. Oh. I'm so used to hitting the button. Michael Noss, our good friend over there from Stats Edge. Right off the jump, Michael, I want to jump right into this because most people think U.S. government shutdown, the world is going to end, sell all of your stocks, we're screwed, forget about it, I'm just going to sell and go away. But what should we be looking at here?
You always buy the government shutdown and you always buy the World War III. That's the two things I have. If World War III is trending on Twitter, you buy stocks. And if the government shut down, you buy stocks as well. And I actually have charts to prove the second one. I don't really have charts to prove the first one, but I actually just went to Perplexity. And this is the beauty of being able to do research like this with AI, is I just said, go and tell me every government shutdown since 1990 and what it did to the market over the period of time. And this is listed from the oldest on the bottom to the newest on the top. You can see one that happened for 4 days in 1990. We had a 2% drawdown. But way up here, this is the last Trump administration. And the beauty of this market and what has made this market easier for me to trade is we have seen it all before. We have seen trade wars with Trump, and we've seen him bully J-Pow on Twitter and all of these things. And he had the longest standing government shutdown of 35 days, so over a month. And the market returned 10% in 35 days. And then all the other ones you can see, 3 days here and 17 days here, all moderately positive. And another chart that's amazing is this is all of these government shutdowns. What was the average return 3 months out, 6 months out, and 1 year out? And in all scenarios, it was higher. So at least in the recent past, that's not a crazy amount of data to go off of, but at least in the recent past, you buy the government shutdown and ride it until at least it's done. So I'll be looking for the same kind of price action this time.
Yeah, and the thing about it is with it being Polymarket has 70%, Kalshi 66% chance that this could happen. So this is not, that's constantly changing here, but this is not the kind of action where, oh yeah, they usually come up with a deal and we're not too concerned about it. Like we're talking about when there is an actual shutdown. We're talking about this all the time, right? Like they hit the spending limit all the time, or you hear about the tit for tat, will the government shut down? That's the normal aspect of this. The one question, I know I'm going to be putting you on the spot, I'd like to put you on the spot here often, is was there anything in particular, timing-wise or specifically sector-wise, when it came to buying that dip that stood out for you? Or was it more along the lines of, hey, just grab the index and hold it? If you get a dip, you just buy that dip and then hold it, or is there anything specific sector-wise or with the timing of that potential trade? Because this is coming up quick. We could find out Wednesday morning.
Yeah, I looked sector-wise. I tried to narrow down in any sector that I could, and I know you were talking a little bit about defense there, and it's not. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. You'd think defense would be important because it's mainly government funded and things like this, but pretty much sector-wise, the market just behaved as normal. And my theory is that anything that's going to be priced is going to be already priced going into it. Like you said, the prediction markets are saying 70, 80% chance of a shutdown. So the market has already priced this to begin with. I always say once I know about it, everyone else knows about it, and it's already priced in. So if all of this is priced in, then what happens is normal market forces take after and move around after that. The only thing that I saw that was a little bit different this time is the BLS, the one that does the jobs report, said they're not going to give new data if the government shut down. That might be a little bit interesting because, of course, we're always hinging on what the next rate decision is going to be and what JPOW is going to say about that. That may delay some of that information of, you know, whether or not that's something that we can take a trade off of. But it looks like it's basically business as usual when the market's shut down. And again, for the longest one, 35 days, we still held up. If it was all like 2-3 day events and they were fine, that's one thing. But yeah, for the long one, the 35-day one, we were still fine.
And that just goes to show, like, even if there is a shutdown and it lasts more than just this week, it is an opportunity potentially to buy. I want to shift to something which might be related, which is gold. Here, because certainly if they're in the government shutdown or any kind of turmoil, it seems like a safe haven. You had gold right back into the GLD and right back into the highs. Another strong rally that it's been on. Maybe not so much for energy, but what's your take? What's your take here? Because you juxtapose that. If it's a good to buy dips in a government shutdown, that would usually think, okay, you can put risk on, and then wouldn't gold in theory potentially pull back? But this chart is so gorgeous, it's just technically, why would you ever get out of something trending this way? So what are your thoughts when it comes to gold? Because you would normally think that risk on in a government shutdown as a buy the dip might mean gold pulls back, but its chart's very bullish.
Commodities do this, and commodities are a very interesting beast because they do, I just call it nothing and then everything. So with gold, I remember being on this show talking about the breakout of 190 way back here, and I wish I could say I held all of it. I still have a tiny piece left, but not enough. But if you look at it, this isn't, I don't know if this is really a gold type thing of, if you look at coca, for example, right, this is just, right, it's coca. It's probably the most random thing that's ever been brought up on this show, but it does the same thing. All of these, platinum, palladium, silver, you can look at it across the board. All commodities seems to have multiple years of absolutely nothing, and then this breaks out and it triples from the breakout, quadruples from the breakout. And that's why I would never really play mean reversion back in commodities, because they just have this tendency of completely boring you for years and years on end, and then something sparks a rally out of the blue, and these trend way further than anyone thinks that they can. So I don't even know if gold has anything to do with inflation or a safe haven asset or anything anymore. It's just a trend, and this trend seems unstoppable until there's some event that occurs that, like what's happening here in coca, that just causes these really ugly long-term tops. But generally speaking, not like stocks where there's a valuation that it kind of gets tied to or anything, so they can trend for way further than most people think.
And that's why we love your perspective there, Michael. As always, our good friend in CMT over there at Stats Edge. We threw a couple of things at you. Well, at least I threw a couple of things at you that I didn't think you should be prepared for, but you always have a little something for us. Best of luck in all of your trading as usual, Michael, and thanks for the insight. Specifically, maybe people shouldn't be as afraid of the shutdown that could happen, which could be happening as of Tuesday midnight, so on Wednesday in the United States. So thank you very much, Michael. Appreciate your insights as always. We'll talk to you later on in the week.
Thank you, Michael.
Talk to you Friday. I always love being here. Have a good one.
Our good friend, the NOS boss, always dropping science on us. But there was some news, Adara, that hit. I know you were throwing some earnings out there and maybe a couple of news stories while we were talking with Michael.
Yeah, it was basically just earnings. So JEF, Jeffries, I'll pull this one up if I can. Give me a second there, JEF. So as you can see, just like a little baby spike, nothing crazy. They did have a double beat though for earnings. If I can get these, there they are. So Q3 adjusted earnings $1.01 per share, above estimates of 80 cents per share. Sales $2.047 billion versus estimates of $1.923 billion. Now we also talked here about PRGS. They had a double earnings beat. Guidance was a little bit mixed. And MTN. This is Vail Resorts. They had a double miss. So 3 earnings names. Jeffries, that was a double beat. PRGS, double beat. MTN, double miss. Pretty binary reports there for tonight, guys. Pretty easy to tell who was well received by the market and who wasn't. That's it. I mean, tomorrow night we have a whopper in the form of Nike.
Ooh.
But there's nothing that exciting tonight, guys.
Well, that whopper in terms of earnings, Nike tomorrow after the bell. This morning we did have Carnival Cruise Line, so there was a little something as a tidbit, but no questions asked. Nike, an absolute beast of a brand and of a stock. Because let's be real. Like, who doesn't know Nike? Maybe the most famous brand out there. If you know who Michael Jordan is, then you know it. We're talking about Air Max. We're talking about Jordan. Just do it, baby. Like, everyone knows that I ran in Nike in track shoes when I was in university, and this has been a long-standing story and a stock a lot of people are interested in. You know, founded well over 50 years ago as Blue Ribbon Sports, and everyone knows Phil Knight and Coach Bill Bowerman. That's where it started. But they were powered by innovation, and more importantly, the big-time athlete partnerships. Obviously, MJ, the biggest one, cannot top that for cultural relevance. But we got to break down the playbook here for Nike going into these earnings, because if you can, we want to map out the move and not necessarily chase it, everybody. So let's be real. If you want to look for that big swoosh, then you want to understand what the game is. And this all started out when Bowen, believe it or not, was experimenting with a waffle iron. And the big swoosh, the iconic swoosh, debuted in 1971, well over 50 years ago. And the air technology changed a generation. Partly my generation, actually. But the true moat was when the flywheel of product innovation, which is athlete storytelling and making brands culturally relevant, that's what they did the best. 4 years after that, year after I was born, the IPO, and it wasn't just when they got Michael Jordan to endorse a shoe. They essentially turned the entire company into a Jordan brand. So led an athlete-led halo that still to this day compounds. So their dominance in performance created pricing power and distribution leverage, just ask Foot Locker, and their competitors had no chance and were unable to replicate. And for the last decade, and the biggest shift has been moving sales away from wholesale and toward their own channels. Nike.com, that online's been big. Like you said, ask Foot Locker, the Nike app, sneakers, and owned retail. Why this mattered is it expanded their gross margins, tightened their inventory controls, and improved data feedback loops, and allowed a cleaner storytelling at their full price. There's a trade-off here, unfortunately. Some execution risk emerged. Marketing has to create demand. Supply has to stay tight, and we all know there's been some disruptions there. And their assortment discipline had to be non-negotiable. So, when DTC grows as a share of market mix, the model signals superior profitability, but also places so much pressure on inventory turns and launch cadence. So when you're listening to the earnings call and playing that earnings call, it's a very high volatile event. The 3 things you got to consider here: regional mix, China. We know, well, it just is what it is, everybody. I'm not going to say it that way. China. But weakness here will definitely compress the multiple. You got to listen in for that. Their gross margins, everybody. The full price sell-through versus promos, freight and input costs will be important. Margin beats are what give you extended rallies. If they can beat there, definitely a good sign. But then most importantly, the forward guidance. The second leg of the move always follows the tone of the outlook. Forget about the headline print. You got to bear down. Look at what the guidance is going to be and listen to the 2 points that we gave to you before. So option markets here are pricing a pretty sizable move in either direction, but after the print, IV gets crushed, okay? Real volatility is going to persist if the guidance resets a narrative. What you don't want is a nothing burger. That'll be crushing everybody in the options game. So the future of Nike, everybody, its newest, highest profile move, they got the Nike SKIMS collaboration. The ultimate stock driver is still culture, meaning performance. It just isn't MJ anymore. Get Kim K in there and get a loyal audience. We've seen already with the Sidney Sweeney effect, if they can pull that lever, then you can get a nice little bounce and maybe a reemergence into what was one of the biggest companies and brands out there, some former glory. So you get their performance with SKIMS, body contouring fabrics, reinforcing their pivot toward inclusivity and modern lifestyle trends. It's an important thing they have to get right. It creates instant hype, a model that drives high margin full sale prices directly to consumers via their apps. And the thing about that is, if you swing and you hit, then you can just move to the next big brand ambassador. So that, at the end of the day, you want to map the big three things. China mix is huge, everybody. That guidance is a big, big deal. And you've got to consider inventory commentary. If they're having inventory issues still, that's a big problem for Nike, but they've got to hit on the Kim K. You want the Sidney Sweeney effect. You've got to go back to your roots, Nike, and make it all about the brand and the leaders and the influencers speaking for your brand. So manage your size around the call. You know these events are going to move you. Focus in on that guidance. Focus in on that inventory numbers. And don't just sit there thinking, oh, they're beating the top and the bottom. Everything is going to be fine. No, you got to dig deeper like I was talking about. And maybe we can get that swoosh to the upside of there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, they certainly didn't swoosh to the upside with their last report, Neil. Their gross margin dropped 440 basis points. They attributed that to higher discounts and changes to channels. This is also, of course, one of the first reports after the tariff tumble, as we like to call it. So they could still be adjusting. Elliott Hill has now been CEO for almost a year. He was appointed at the end of September. He started at the beginning of October, so it's been almost 12 months. Elliott Hill and Brian Nichols started around the same time. Brian Nichols, of course, new CEO of Starbucks. And they both run into a lot of challenges trying to turn around these brands that were legacy brands that were really well received for a very long time and now are really struggling to find their footing. I mean, like I mentioned some of this earlier as well, but comparable sales for the fiscal year last year were a disaster. Wholesale revenue down 7%, Nike direct revenue down 9%, total revenue down 10%. So let's see, like the point I'm trying to make is this wasn't just a quarterly issue for last quarter, first quarter of tariffs, it was an issue for all of fiscal 2025. Yes. Now, Elliott Hill has a chance to start this fiscal year as CEO the right way. Let's hope he gives the people what they want. Analysts are looking for $10.98 billion in revenue and earnings of 28 cents per share for the quarter. You can find all of this on X at GTV Research.
Which you do a fantastic job with, as always, there, Adara. And I would want to point out, we sort of referenced Lululemon a couple of times, adjacent to Nike, as trying to catch a bit of a bottom. This is an example, I think here, at least for Lululemon, where they demonstrate how difficult it is when you get past that. It's just brand recognition, quality product, and they've done everything they can do. When you get in a bit of a slide, how bad it can be trying to get out of it if you don't pull the right levers. Now, granted, I would venture to tell you that Nike has already done a little bit better of a job of pulling off of some of its lows. So it's not sitting in the same type of space as a Lulu is, where it's just hanging off the bottoms. This is already putting in some higher lows. And this is why it's so important. Like, you've got some momentum off the bottom. If you don't muck it up here, and if the guidance is strong, and if they've cleared up some of the inventory issues, certainly they're poised to have a good chance here. It's not the same falling knife that Lululemon has been. And everyone's trying to catch a bottom on Lululemon. Trust me, the number of questions we get about on the show. When is Lulu going to hit the bottom? Is this the bottom for Lulu? And we get that for a lot of bottom picking stock. This has already made a bit of a bounce play, so it should be a big one here, hopefully, tomorrow night. Just to wrap things and sort of go back to the broad market here, Adara, I do want to remember, overall, as much as most of today felt like we were selling, the NASDAQ still finishes up half a point. So we gapped up the day before we get the fear of the government shutdown. Spend most of the day essentially in a bit of a sell mode. But we held some of those bids. Yeah. Now, some of the tech names had some trouble at the end of the day. We saw that with Alphabet. Apple actually held up pretty well, though. The chips could have been a heck of a lot worse. So it doesn't feel like the same kind of fear and panic for this government shutdown. Now, what I don't wonder is if that means people don't believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like to make assumptions or anything. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens. I do want to take a moment that we had a super chat. I think we had two of these heading into the close, or I don't know if they were on our show, but I'll mention them either way. Calvin GTS, thank you for the $5 super chat, saying thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. You're a trooper. Good day. So thank you to Calvin GTS shouting out Sean. We also had Bill Swirsky, super fan. Thank you very much for the $20 super chat. I've watched most days since February. Had my first over 10% of portfolio up day, more than my first year salary after college. Thank you for all the knowledge. Thank you, Bill Swirsky and Kelvin GTS and everybody in the chat for your support, for your kind words. We're so grateful to be here with this community and for all the people that make this community what it is.
So I'm going to do something right here. Here's what we're going to do. First of all, congratulations, Bill. That's really cool. I'm going to read that again just for myself here. Your first over 10% of portfolio day, more than your first year salary after college. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for all the knowledge. So here's what I want everyone to do when we get this roll call going. What I want you to do is just, first of all, you have to join the chat if you want to be part of roll call. Jump in here, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's a subs only chat. And then everyone jumps in and says, congratulations, Bill. Congrats, Bill. Real simple. Let's congratulate a fellow trader for having an unbelievable day there. Shout out to Bill. That's what it's all about. We're all just trying to learn and get better, whether it's day trading, swing trading, investing, whatever your cup of tea is. We can all learn from each other. And with that, I'm going to leave it to Adara. We have a fantastic team here. I want to thank all of them. But more importantly, congrats there, Bill. I'm glad you smoked it. And why not? Congrats to the Bills as well, because we won.
Congrats to the Bill. Congrats to Bill. Congrats to Sandisk. SNDK had a great day. Jay in the chat was asking about this. I have no news for you. I can tell you that it's up, and I can say congratulations. Thank you very much to Danny Dollars, Ryan O'Day, Gujuj. Thank you to Tyrone Hamilton, Cookie, Papa Dre, Midlife, Mama in Motion. I love that one. Others think just do it. Very timely for Nike. High Vibrations, Day Trader, Cut, Jazzy, Schwans, William Hu, Joseph Brown, Jake Robert Snake, Day Trader, Cut, Jay, Byron Hart, Roger Noonan, Why Not, Bart Simpson, Schwans, again here, Meraki's 100, Jason Queenie, Buddhist Priest, Julian L, TKL, Why Not, again, We Cansado, NYC Urbanista, Byron Hart, Mangelita's World, Tyrone Hamilton, Robert Liu, D. Westmeyer, Crypto Forest, Day Trader Cut again, the Tranquil Channel, and Neil, Sean, Sharif, Joe, Brendan, Mark, Rob, Randy. We have Baby, Nermeen, Andre, and we have all of you guys in the chat. Thank you all for being here every single day. And guess what, guys? Tomorrow we are back. Nike will be reporting earnings. The government will be doing things. And news and trading will be happening, and maybe App 11 will randomly move $30 in one single 3-minute candle again.
It does do that. It does do that.
That was wild. So yeah, maybe, if you want to see all these random wild actions, you got to check us out right here, Trader TV Live.
Get it, Adara, crushing it every single time, and we'll round it off by saying another congratulations to you, Bill. That's absolutely amazing. I think for a lot of you have to understand, like when you have your biggest day, and for you, like you said, your first first salary out of college, it was bigger than that. That's a big deal. So enjoy it. I'm not going to say run out and spend it, but enjoy yourself, man. Like whatever it is that you do to celebrate, just make sure you take it in. That's a heck of an accomplishment there. So we want to congratulate a member of our community. Thank you, everybody. It's been a wild day. It gets only crazier. As Badera said, potential government shutdown, Nike earnings after the bell tomorrow. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. We're Trader TV Live. Market Recap brought to you by Beta Pro by GlobeX. Has been now, and rest up because tomorrow is going to be wild.
Yeah.